3 players stacked up. They were death dotted outside B long. I'm like, where is everybody from Oxygen Esports? But there they are. Left. They spread their wings. They leave their nest that was the ramp. Good flash, that recon. Bolt will be allowed to reveal one. Mitch gonna exchange some shots and actually lands a couple, unfortunately. Oxygen on the losing end of the duels thus far. Shock Dart will force him away. JonahP, our heartthrob here, will find the first snap before going down. And we'll see who gets to find the last. It's Trent to push on through a solid round. Well, a round that went according to plan for the guard. No Yoru tricks this time.
And that's why I'm definitely concerned about this Yoru. I remember another thing about Oxygen when they got to play it. It was... we got to see it on Bind, and it was this Yoru pretty much playing by himself on Bong. And trying to play maybe in the same way that we saw the last match, where those duelists are trying to go for those hero plays without too much support every single round. But for pwny, it just has to go well. The luck has to be on his side as well for things to go the way of Oxygen. And of course, that pistol round is not going to be it. So focusing a little bit more on the future as Oxygen try to play more aggressive towards A, trying to go for that orb. And the guard just play back.
Okay, a beautiful cross-map knife gets just about everybody, if not everybody. See, everybody actually still suppressed here. No flashes, no teleports, no nothing for Oxygen Esports as they push on through.
The damage is there absolutely for Oxygen. 25 HP that Verno is left with. But the spike still gonna get planted. JonahP now back in the game. Back inside and trying to find something else. There's no way Oxygen make this one happen 2v2.
Yeah, they have to try and find a way to deal with Mitch, who's got himself a Spectre. He's back sight. 0 point to try and reveal. JonahP gonna hop onto the spike. Mitch the first one to peek here, just off of the gravity well. He loses the fight. Mitch, 3 kills on the round. Hoping to put this one in favor of Oxygen Esports. Favor, and that's exactly what he does. Net was on the Sheriff. Mitch was on the Spectre. And then eBay Thrifty goes the way of Oxygen Esports.
A Thrifty that has to feel real good for Oxygen. The early control towards A, it was simple, but it just manages to work out just enough, especially after that first kill for pwny. Now Mitch is actually going to have the Nightfall available. We saw him getting the orb early on, and the kills, everything else was just enough to guarantee it. Five kills so far. One of the difference makers for sure when it comes to this initiator role, especially in challengers. Let's see how Oxygen are able to capitalize from a tight score so early on.
That's a difficult round to lose for the guard. Fake out goes through.
Everybody mid, yeah.
And nobody can take shots at that one, so they'll be working their way through mid, that being the guard. Try and deal with this A push. Okay. Fumble the spike for just a second. Scuba will pick that one up. Mitch deals with that recon bolt, not before finding 2 reveals. But however, leaps his way to safety. pwny on the back lines, only gonna be met by net, maybe met by net here. Text the first one up, the first one to fall. Now a Sheriff picked up into the hands of valyn. This round is going the way that you would expect.
With everybody playing together as well, trying to meet some of the players mid, but not really the case. He goes for the spike being planted. And for their round, going the way of Oxygen as valyn and JonahP are the last players alive. Gonna get some exit frags. We'll get just one for JonahP before getting shot down by randyySAVAGE. And that's...
He's just not having fun right now.
Yeah, that's the early advantage for Oxygen. I mean, this Yoru.
First round, dies immediately. That round, not much tech really to be shown. Dies on the way out. Yeah, pwny. Hopefully we get something out of him here soon. Good economy, obviously. The way that the first few rounds played out for Oxygen Esports puts themselves in a spot to bolster up that economy. All Gucci, everything just about. They also have a Nightfall online. So lots of decay, lots of paranoia to set in should they use that ultimate. Operator though protects. Unfortunately, it's on the wrong side of the map for now.
Yeah, text for the operator here. Something that we got to see yesterday, just going absolutely insane. one of the best players overall when it comes to this role specifically, and Oxygen having to answer back with the Yoru. And the composition here for Oxygen is heavy for this post plan, with all the agents that they have here for that information and even to create that delay. But it also requires that entry for pwny on the Yoru. And it's not your jet dashing in inside of the cloudburst. It's not the race with a double satchel, right? It becomes a lot more predictable and a lot easier to shut down. So again, pwny with a big role here to step it up when it comes down to the kills themselves. As Oxygen for this round number 4, they approach that A site.
Face your fear!
And what does this shit look like? A nightfall that reveals 1, maybe 2 on the site. Pwny will find his way on, but he's gonna get spammed. No Yoru help for the rest of this round. 3 players still postured up inside main. Verno gonna even the odds and taking down net. That is the catch-all for the Garden. He's now gone. The rest of the defense, mind you, 3 players of the 4 are here, and they're not gonna give this one up for free. Here comes valyn and Jonah to battle back for 2, and Scuba left alongside support in Verno to play the cross, but with 13 seconds. I mean, this is it. All you have to do if your Tex is survive, stay off the site. If your Oxygen, there's nothing you can do.
And the guard, they love that position as well. Throughout dugout, just making sure that every single one of those players is gonna get shot down. They do it first to pwny, and Trent is also able to do the same thing towards Scuba. So tie up the score as well very early on, 2-2.
Do a kickflip. My fault. You're saying? High score line.
Yep.
2-2. Dimensional drift online. This could be the first round where we're awarded, or we're blessed by some of the Yoru tech.
Blessing or curse? Which one is it gonna be for this round? This information is good, and one of the tools that you actually get a lot of value off. Just pinging where the player is gonna be, trying to get it, but doesn't get any kills, so the ultimate's over, and the Hunter's Fury comes next.
Yeah, but how about that? Yeah, they force Trent back, but that Hunter's Fury lines up just about everybody. valyn to find the first. Trent makes good with that ultimate. Mitch here to try and trade, but it's net instead to push through the nebula smoke. And, well, the 2 that remain this time is Verno once more. He's gone. randyySAVAGE find the first 2 lineup out of the 3, but it doesn't matter. A team ace the way of the guard. An A site that just looks locked down 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, and even the B side, right? How is it gonna be played out? And it goes back to that concern, the composition of Oxygen. They take a timeout. The Fade is one of those agents as well that we've seen on this map before, but not too much recently. The Fade has not been one of the main characters in this map, and I think overall in the current meta for every single one of those maps, it's so rare to see it. Maybe a little bit more specific to teams, but with a composition so unique, it's gotta be those almost perfect executions from pwny. Yes. And we just haven't seen it. I don't know what the chances are, especially when you're going against the guard, to get away with a composition like this one. And I know it's early in the map, early in the match, but it's one of those concerns that you need to take into account, because the analyst desk was highlighting it. It was going to come down to, between many things, pwny and the top performances that he has had. But can he do the same thing on your?
Yeah, I thought there is absolutely a world where pwny can jet dip Pex in a lot of situations. We saw the jet dip yesterday on Haven against Oxy. Looked pretty good there. We're robbed of it this time. And to that point, right, you mentioned it too, Dry, that it is still early in the game, and the Yoru probably comes online once there's a better read of this guard defense, right? The way that the guard are playing, it probably helps to know exactly how this defense is set up, so that way you can sneak your gate crash into certain areas. You can throw fake outs that are going to catch people off guard. It is unfortunate, though, that if you're Oxygen and you're waiting for that, right, these rounds where you're feeling things out are rounds that the guard are winning. So you need to figure it out sooner rather than later and get pwny activated, I guess, is for lack of a better word.
And I mean, it's more than that, right? Because the side of Oxygen, of course, you want to have that read, especially into this A side, which seems a lot more doable for them. But the setup here for the guard has so many options, so many different things that they like to do with heavy kills utility. Sometimes with what is that initiator that Trent playing all the way back, and a couple of those options, even JonahP playing towards R. They've gone for this variety of styles that work out for the guard, so it's hard to predict for Oxygen.
30 seconds left.
There goes that fake out.
You should run.
Is gonna be dealt with. That flash won't land. However, the next one will. The blindside come through, but everybody's blinded up by it. Finally, randyySAVAGE will find a bit of value, going 1 for 1. Lockdown also on a pretty opportune time. It's gonna force everybody off the site. That weapon swap comes through in a pit. Now to work through is Oxygen Esports in a pretty good spot here. 3v3, their weapons aren't the best.
Hello.
Difficult retake.
randyySAVAGE down to 13 HP. Scuba as well, not the healthiest so far, but a 3v3, like you said, and the Viper Spit makes it a lot more doable.
He just rat inside that pit too. Is completely safe. Does not need to put himself in harm's way any way, shape, or form. And the guard have read that. They understand what's happening here, so they'll concede the round, and Oxygen Esports will tie us up.
Yeah, there's a cool Viper Spit because of it. You can get to keep it alive and just also be in a safe position. Gives the eBay thrifty to Oxygen. But is those one of those rounds, right, where, okay, the Viper Spit makes a difference, makes it work out. But if it wasn't for that, you already know randyySAVAGE was low in HP. The controller was the exact same thing, so the guard just giving that respect to the space and to the ultimates that are enabling that difference maker for them. And again, look, the setup changing for Killjoy, the setup changing for the guard. Another version of it this time around with that Soba and that Jet. And a more forward position for Tex, but nobody to be found just yet. Nobody on that A site. This is Oxygen, they want to play this new territory, and the guard is waiting for it.
A little back and forth, little do-si-do. pwny make that first gate crash. That's been noted. Now this space has been taken, courtesy of the drone. Tex, close and personal, has the knives in 1 kill, and there it is. Knives online. He's just going to walk away from this one. Still has that tailwind available. Now it's activated. He can look to get out of dodge after taking that shot. It's exactly what he does. Misses the shot. Player down for Oxygen Esports. They look to take this A site. Beautiful flash. Toxic screen, actually. Going to keep pwny going. Unrevealed for now. It's not full control just yet. Finally, Scuba will get the spike planted.
Having to back up Vortex after that 1 kill, but so given that space for Oxygen to work out and waiting for the time for exactly this, the Cosmic Divide coming through. As the players from Oxygen, a couple of them playing from Art, and it is working out. pwny, good for 2.
Yeah, a little hard to read in that one. I thought pwny was dealt with. Instead, he finds 2 of his own. Does teleport to safety. Now net on the backstab, but dealt with himself. It's all up to Tex. Got himself an operator. Walks inside the snake bite. Vulnerable. Here in this one, that wall's gonna go down. He's gonna look to stick this one all the way. Nope. pwny won't allow it. He hops off the spike. pwny finds 3. And Oxygen Esports, they've got themselves a lead.
Good lead here for Oxygen, but it's absolutely needing a little bit more. And that's the kind of performance that has to guarantee the rounds. pwny, good for 3, and it might not be the flashy, aggressive style that we see for Tex on the Jet, but is trying to take advantage of that utility that makes this Oxygen team different. So gamble here, 4 players of the defense of the guard towards that B side. Killjoy, the only one A, and managing to spot to get some information to everybody else. They're all across the map. Do they expect 4? I mean,
no, they did not at all. Completely overwhelmed. The strength in numbers works. Mitch and Scuba gonna try and back away from that, but this is weapons that can end up in the hands of the guard, and they're not gonna stay to fight it.
Yeah, now you know as well, the last 2 players, they were not lurking, but also going for the B hit. Very well read. Very well read as well for the guard.
Thrifty.
Scuba, the last one alive here, and Storm is gonna take care of it. And eBay Thrifty to answer back and to tie things up again.
Yeah, that is an explosive round from the guard. They walked their way all the way up, and they're eventually rewarded for the aggression. Yeah. Wow, okay.
0-4. And this is scary because the guard are taking a timeout, and it seems like they're slowly but surely getting that read on how Oxygen is going to continue to play throughout this first half. The success that the guard have always found on those timeouts, it's insane. It is one of the reasons why they always take down the enemies in 2 maps. They don't need anything else. Once they're down a couple rounds, even a couple numbers into the round, they're always finding something. And of course, that's thanks to valyn, the IGL. A big help for the team, a big brain as well.
And not to say that isn't possible, it is just very uncharacteristic. We don't normally see Mitch, the player who is having the standout performance over everybody else, right? We look to players like pwny and Verno, who were highlighted in our pre-show. Look to players like Scuba, who's been highlighted all the time as a highly regarded player. But it's actually Mitch who's been working early in the game, found some good kills that allowed for that thrifty round for Oxygen Esports. Now is still leading the team, one away from that nightfall as well. That just kind of lets you know, though, right, as an Oxygen fan, once the rest of the team, starts to feel comfortable in their skin once more, this is going to be a very scary team to deal with. 8 rounds into this one, make it 9. It does seem they are going to give that orb over to Mitch. Hopefully catch some aggression, though.
Not a lot of teams in any level in general for Valorant have been playing this composition, especially on Pearl. The Yoru we've seen a couple times, but it's usually met with a different kind of support system to enable him for success. So pwny once again, the difficult scenario, and the guards are not falling for it. They're not falling for these tricks. It's one of the players getting spotted, and again, the guard ready for it.
Oxygen kind of have the site. They haven't quite claimed it as their own. There's still players that need to get out of here. Fortunately, they can't dig out valyn. They'll have a harder time digging out Trent, too, if they do deal with the first. Out goes the Haunt. Toxic screen. Make sure that nobody is revealed from that. Also dealt with by JonahP. And if this is going to be... Well, no, there's just no way that it's going to be an Oxygen round. They just got to save their weapons.
Yeah, there's no time. No space that they were able to get, and for the guard, one of the things that they've always been good at, on Pearl specifically, but in general as well, is the structure on how this defense is going to play. And that's a mix of the good read that they have on everybody else, and also the full understanding of what everybody can do. That is one of the scary things about this team. Everybody can pop off. Even when Net was holding that B site all by himself, you 100% believe that Net would be able to shut everybody down. It's a mix of this guard team that makes them so strong. One of the best, if not the best team that we have in Challengers. As Oxygen, they go for another approach with an economy that is a little bit all over the place.
Yeah. That's a nice way to put it. It is an interesting buy for Oxygen Esports. Meanwhile, that economy just continues to grow for the guard. Losing minimal members whenever they do, fighting around. Speaking of members going down, it's randyySAVAGE, the first one to fall. That Haunt dealt with it. Allows for pwny to walk onto the site, though. Flashes out. They turn away from it, and he's just 1 HP. Walks right into the crosshair. JonahP deals with him. Gets some more. Here he is. 3K. On the round, Tex wants a bit of the action, and he will be allowed. A Scuba with 56 HP. Make it 16. This is just feeling so overwhelming thus far. He's going to try his darndest to fight his way back into the round, but he doesn't have the spike. Doesn't have the HP. Also missing out on some of the information as the players of the guard are all over the map.
30 seconds left.
Oh, looking for him as well. JonahP good for 4. That round number 10 as the guard. They guarantee 6 into it. And if you look at the setup for the guard, I remember we saw some early iterations of how they were going to be playing this Pearl all the way back to that Ludwig Tierk Invitational. And the way that they've evolved this composition, this playstyle is super interesting. They're not even playing close onto the A side, but they're still managing to shut it down all the way from dugout and secret. Also giving that respect to the Yoru flashes. They can't be the real threat, but not for the guard.
Fake teleport once more. Play that we've seen, but Dryad, you said that the guard aren't falling for the tricks. Where are the tricks? That's the trickiest thing is we've seen pwny faking the teleport into main, and sometimes he teleports, sometimes he doesn't. But that space has been taken once they know it's a fake. The only other teleports that we've seen are teleporting pwny into the default plant cubby on this A side. It doesn't feel like this Yoru is gimmicky, but we haven't seen any of the gimmicks.
And it's hard, I think, because for you to be able to pull off this kind of composition and this Yoru, there's that need for that better support, and the guard is not giving them any space to work with. Anything at all to get away with those kind of crazy plays that we're expecting to see at some point from pwny. They know exactly where he is as well.
No charges left.
Good haunt though. Information reveals. Cosmic Divide separates the defense from retaking for now. Tex afraid that he might have been spotted. Nightfall also queued up here. That one's gonna go just as the lockdown dissipates. Nobody detained. Got a good setup here. Turret. Oh no. Well, that good setup kind of gets hurt for now. Those nano swarms won't be making an appearance here. pwny's still fighting forward though. JonahP gonna find a kill with the fragment onto Mitch. He didn't want to give up his position. And now everybody from Oxygen starting to get cut down. A tap onto the spike means a gravity well gone. Verno gonna try his hand out towards long. Meanwhile, Scuba doesn't want to give up his position just yet. They know that they're on the spike and Verno just can't do anything about it. Never mind. He spams for the box. Maybe he has done enough. He tries, but it's just not good enough. The guard will do it again.
The support system for the guard, everybody watching the right angle, the right time, knowing one was going to be towards Link, the other one all the way behind towards long, and take care of it. I'm not saying that again, so...
Throwback. Dryad's friends here if you missed us in the first series. Welcome to Dryad's home.
Yep. Girl is my home. Expecting here maybe something else towards art, but aggressive push. And it's 2 players as well, and the 2 players that you want to be in this situation for the guard. Going for it in Tex is good for it.
Okay, Tex. All right, man. You can just do that, I guess. They were hoping that smoke would allow them to get out. Tex shoots through it. Takes down one. Now the footsteps are being heard, but a bit of paranoia, right? Whose footsteps are those? Is that going to be the fake out, or is that the actual Yoru? Instead, the actual Yoru sends a couple of rounds to the side of your head. valyn is no more. pwny to get that spike planted. Net dealt with as things get awkward. Mitch stepped inside the swamp, but he's still able to secure the kill. Now Trent gonna try his hand. Spam good for damage. Not much more than that as he pushes through the swamp himself with the drone. A tag is there. The frag to follow. It's JonahP to do it instead. Meanwhile, across the map, Tex walking his way on up. The updrafts through. The knives, they're all expended, and it's all up to the initiators now. A pit to work through. A spike to deal with 3 players on the opposite side, and Scuba not quite noted just yet as he gets sprayed down. Trent is looking to do it with 1 HP. The decay comes back, and Verno catches him just before he has enough HP to fight. And it's Oxygen Esports to find 5 at the half.
Oh, such a risky situation. Trent almost managing to do it, but shot down at the very end, and Verno keeping his Oxygen team alive on the half. 5 rounds that they get towards the end. 2 of them actually ended up being on that A side thanks to the Viper's pit. the positioning that they're unable to do and to hold because of it. But I think that if I had a question about this composition from Oxygen, it is how are they going to position themselves on the defense? Usually you have your duelist, especially if you have that jet playing towards B, holding an operator more often than not. But look, you're going to be aggressive towards B. 3 of the players pushing from here. randyySAVAGE and pwny on that you're trying to find something, and that's nobody to be found. The guard have different plans.
Yeah, with these different plans, though, with that aggression, Oxygen sniff it out. Gate crash used to help pwny get across the map to try and help out his team. It's not a full commitment just yet. 1:15 left on the clock. The A leaned a bit heavier out towards A. Not committed by Trent and Jonah.
Goodbye.
Needed that. Needed that from Mitch. Needed that from Texo to get it back. That's absolutely huge. The guard still have a way in this round, but it might not be through Tex or valyn. Their health little low.
I believe one of them got spotted here, but do they know where pwny's gonna be crouching as well? Oh, it turns around right time as well for pwny.
Yeah, good help for the team there, dealing with that drone. pwny finds another 2 kills on the round for the Yoru. Scuba up close, and I said if you're gonna win it, it wasn't gonna be through these two. Tex and valyn just too low to try to do anything, and Oxygen Esports have found a way back into this game. The pistol round, now an anti-eco away from tying us up.
And I've seen a bunch of different teams saying that this Oxygen squad, they're just so gimmicky. And this is the way that they're able to take victories. By bringing that surprise factor into the compositions and into little microplays that come into it. So if this is the way that they're going to win and take advantage of the guard, I'm super interested to see how it plays in the long run. As they get the pistol round, Oxygen make it 2-6. The guard, they're going to give that respect. Only a Marshall in their hands, thanks to JonahP.
In this round, and the rounds following, ooh, only P gets first blood. Verno, Mitch on the second and the third, however. Scuba obviously not happy about his fate. The fate of the round leans in favor of Oxygen for now. Zero point reveals nobody. Turret dealt with. randyySAVAGE, who's sitting on a Guardian. Up the first swarm. Good damage on a Trent. That will delay. Marshall's still here. Shot goes wide. Oof, okay. Okay, Randy, what a shot here. Looks to find another.
Spike planted.
But we'll just force JonahP back. At the end of the day, a plant for the guard this round. As I said previously, should be the tie game. For Oxygen Esports, randyySAVAGE is going to make sure of that. Instead, it's Mitch from long range. The judge gets it done. Oxygen, they tie us up, but this is where the game gets started here in the second half.
And we've seen that one timeout when it was 4-4 for the guard. Taking the timeout, talking about it, figuring it out. Then there was other factors in that first half that you can only account for so much. But the second half, this is the one that matters. This is where we usually see the guard taking the lead towards the end. So keep an eye on those rifles, the way that's going to make a difference too. The judge of Verno and pwny. Why not? It's gonna be towards that B side though, so nothing to be worried about for the guard just yet.
And Mitch's job here too, if this is gonna be an A hit, is to stall as much as possible. Oh no. Look where the gate crash is, Dryad. That gate crash, I don't know if it wasn't lined up correctly or if it just wasn't meant to go across the map, but it didn't. Mitch is, well, I was gonna say Mitch is gonna be on an island, but Tex wants to plant his flag on that island. He quickly devours Mitch out towards the A side, and that might call for the rotate.
The lineups as well, the rotate as well. It just works out perfectly. The KO knife was a green light for that rotation for Oxygen. Everybody left this B side, and that is now where the guard is going. And it seems like it was really the plan all along. They got that pick on Mitch. They didn't spot anybody with a knife, and they still go for the B hit. The drone is going to get that early information too. Clear long is nobody to be found. Yeah, Oxygen, they realized that they repositioned themselves over here.
A second snake bite used to try and keep Verno safe back halls. Nobody feeling comfortable enough to push through that.
30 seconds left.
It's also where Judge lies. Oh, it's up close and personal, but Tex does it again. Out goes the fake out, but it might not matter. Tex for 3 on the round. Scuba gets back 1, but 1 is not enough. He needs a whole lot more. He's stalled for quite some time, but that spike will be planted. And the clock has been refreshed for the guard. Scuba's only got a Guardian with 2,700 credits. Can afford to go for something crazy, but this would... I think this would exceed crazy if he made this work.
In a 1v4 as well. Completely surrounded, spotted. In 17 HP. Nothing else that Scuba was able to do. And they don't want to even let him run away. Got to see it behind, but no, it's going to be Net taking care of it as the guard take the lead 8-7. And they start to look a lot more comfortable. They never really had those shaky rounds from the guard, but they just gave that respect to Oxygen when it came to the A execute on that first half. This is the time where they can actually become a little more disrespectful, right? Towards that Yoru. Towards Mitch, that has been on top of the board since the beginning of the game.
No gate crash this time. Not yet, at least. Finally, pwny will send that one out. This one slowly creeping his way on up through the spawn. Meanwhile, Scuba I play lockdown inside Link in a very slow approach. The guard understanding that Oxygen coming to this one full force.
There's nobody towards Art for this defensive side. Just all the way backside on Link as we see randyySAVAGE holding this position. The one way and immediately gonna get denied that visibility of the amount of players here besides hearing the owl drone. So pushing forward was Mitch until realizing, yeah, immediately had to back up.
They know that a hit is coming. That gate crash was taken, but it was not very close to this A site. So just leave the B site. This pwny, meanwhile, his teammates are dying here on this one. Mitch gonna try and hold it down, but the 3-for-1 trade thus far does not feel great. Out goes the first Yoru. The second one dealt with, and how about it? Trent for 4 kills on the round, making a statement here in round 16.
This is the thing, even that positioning. I mean, Mitch gets the information, backs up, but still holding on to that corner where oftentimes you're guaranteed maybe 1 kill because they gave up the art control completely. And so players were coming right and left. Mitch had nowhere to go. It was just not safe for the initiator. As Oxygen take a timeout. Things were working out in the first half. But as always, the guard finding an answer. And that one for that round being Trent. I mean, good for 4. Got 4 kills at the end. Puts himself on top.
And Net's just happened to be here. valyn received a few more deaths. Meanwhile, Net sitting at 7 and 8, 16 rounds in. Says, hey guys, I'm here. Net kind of has been the catch-all. He caught Scuba as the last one standing in that round with the Guardian. On the defense, he also caught the 2 players that are trying to sneak through Link. So if anything gets through the drain, Net is usually there to catch it, living up to his namesake. Come out of the timeout where I had the buy stinks here for Oxygen Esports. Not the best to work with, unfortunately.
Get out of my
But
way.
they did win that 30 the first half, you know? So, I mean, this is a little bit of a different story. Tex gonna be using that Blade Storm as well. Hunting for anybody. Nobody to be found, though. This A side is gonna be for free. They're gonna spot the player, goes for the swing, and valyn is there to help out.
Make out, blindside, everything tossed out to blind everybody out. pwny leaps forward, catches one at the right click. valyn Trying to trade it back for 2-for-1 thus far.
Remaining.
Trent and Net find their way into the kill feed. Verno, now the last one standing, but a doable situation. A 1v2. As utility, will toss out the first star. Tries to avoid some of that spam. We'll send some back. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of bullets left in these guns. He's forced to reload, which just takes more time off the clock. Turret dealt with, Nano Swarm used. The clock is on the side of the guard. Unfortunately for Verno, not on his. JonahP with one more bit of utility. Verno against the world here. Finds one of 2 kills. The round will go the way of the guard, and that lead will go to 3. But as you mentioned, Dryad, that could have been a thrifty victory. That was still a strong showing of defense from Oxygen, given what they had in that round.
Yeah, absolutely. But it just becomes too difficult with the last 2 players. You have a knife, you have a fragment, you have a nanoswarm to take care of. I mean, just so much as well that make it impossible towards the end, especially as the time was running out. And the kills were good as well for the Stingers. For the eco round for Oxygen. But I mean, it's those little things, those little rounds that you wish would go the other way if you're on Oxygen's side, and when they don't, it's when this happens, right? The guard, double digits, all the confidence, the operator still in the hands of Tex, and that space of look how far back Oxygen is playing on this defense. Towards that A side, we already got to see it. Towards that B side, the one taking first contact. This is Verno and immediately down. There is a nightfall for Mitch as he's positioned towards lane, but I mean, the value, the impact, it seems like it's already been made. The Astra is down for Oxygen, and this is a round that they have to win.
They were really banking on the guard, finding a pick B and rotating back towards A. That's what they've been doing. It's not the case this time around. Only one defender here on this site. It's Mitch with the Nightfall, like you mentioned, but there is the Viper retake wall, and that is the one controller that does still stand for Oxygen Esports.
You are powerless.
That retake wall doesn't matter, actually. Interesting. Taken out of the dimensional drift there. Only tried to go into the ultimate, but just gets completely denied by the null command. Next up is randyySAVAGE, met by the operator. 2 players just around the corner, and the spam should be enough. Pwny deals with the first. Blindside goes out. JonahP, however, gets revealed. It doesn't matter, and Scuba left again in a 1v4. Last time we saw him try it. This time, he's got to walk away from it and concede the 11th round to the guard.
And I mean, what can you do in that situation, right? No utility that can be used. Plus, everybody positioned towards long, making your life easier. I like the commitment as well for the guard when they're going for that Cosmic Divide. Just taking those small advantages that play into their round wins, into potentially the map point here.
Placing alarm bot.
But then Oxygen Esports having to use everything that they have right now, right? And you're looking at that lockdown more than anything else. Because they've been unable to fight for that map control. They always have to play so far back. And on top of that, they're not winning that first duel, right? It's more often than not Tex. Ready for it. Not gonna have the operator anymore, but the Vandal can do just enough for him. There it is.
Tex also working with the world's largest crosshair. Maybe the world's largest crosshair gap. That's... A guy's on 6 or 7 there. I guess it doesn't matter when you're just looking down. The scope rifle, that is the operator.
Whatever works, you know?
Yeah,
maybe you should try that crosshair.
Hey, trust me, my boomer eyes, I use a very large crosshair, or else I cannot see it. I need that. I'm right there with Tex.
Oh, the killjoy up close. Immediately down.
JonahP ready on that angle.
Spotted as well.
Good fragment placement. Walking away from it though.
There's a hole.
Mitch does survive. They thought he wasn't there because of that fragment, so he'll go back to take the fight, but 4 HP and eventually just spammed out. Trent, the king of spam kills here in this game thus far. Also put himself in a tough spot, vulnerable as he walks away from it. Scuba maybe look to try his hand. He's got the rifle that's worth saving. Meanwhile, pwny and Verno, they can just throw caution to the wind. That's exactly what they do. Scuba's caught on the way out. And now Verno has a rifle of his own to try and save. He's headed for the hills.
The guard gonna get 212 on map number 1 here on Pearl. I mean, the more that we get to see it, the easier it feels for the guard. It started with a back and forth between the two teams. Even from that second round, the Oxygen took away, but after that, the guard take 2 timeouts. They know exactly what to do, and after that, I mean, we haven't really seen that early success that Mitch and pwny were finding in a couple of those rounds. And that was the importance. Again, the desk mentioned it. The importance of players like pwny and Verno even having to go big in a match like this one if they want to get that upset. But still,
Thank you.
be a difficult task for this one. 4 ultimates available. Viper Spit, the first one, is gonna get used towards the B side, and Scuba's gonna stay on it, hoping guard are not gonna go for that early contest into it. pwny with a knock.
And, you know, this is... I thought we'd see a lot more of the operator. Not that it's exactly like the chamber, but the gate crash, that teleport, can allow you to push up in aggressive angles and teleport to safety, maybe with a bit more of a delay, but you have more freedoms with it, right? You have a longer range in where you can use that gate crash, and it isn't until now that pwny finally pulls that one out.
And also, I mean, he could never really position towards B. He attempted a couple rounds, but it ended up being that A hit. And in a couple of those, it just didn't work out with the amount of ultimates and utility that the guard was throwing all the way in that B side. This was going to be linked to B, and the Viper Spit could end up being contested. No, immediately backing up.
30 seconds left.
And Mitch just could not get out of there in time. Playing through sewers, you only have one way out, and it's not the quickest. Dealt with. Mitch dealt with. 4 remain here. Operator up close and personal. I believe the gate crash is gone, so he's just got to try and walk out of this one as he sends another shot. Out goes the fake out, but valyn not falling for it. Trying to buy time. Unfortunately, there's too much on the clock, and it allowed for the plant. And in a 3v5, make it a 2v5. Scuba and randyySAVAGE try their hand at the unthinkable here. Been a daunting task all game here on Pearl Oxygen Esports. Left swirling in it all as Tex does it again.
Flawless.
Trent just behind him. A flawless on the way out, courtesy of Sheets. And this map will go the way of the guard.
And it gets a little bit more concerning if you're on the side of Oxygen, but the guard away with the map number 1 in that first victory on Pearl. And we talked about it. We've seen this map for the guard a couple of times throughout challengers, a little bit before the season even started, and it seems like they were never really tested on it besides that one loss against TSM. After that, and even before that, it was winning it over and over again. The execution seemed a lot cleaner, and it also seems like they just take advantage of the flaws that they could find in Oxygen in this composition that was so unique. I mean, we haven't even seen it in challengers, we haven't seen it internationally with the Yoru, the Fade, everything else that was playing out. I'm so curious on why we got to see it for Oxygen. It seems like it probably worked a little bit better on scrims with other teams that were more surprised by it, but it is the story, and so the guard with a pretty good lead on this match.
Yeah, and the guard coming into this one, the heavy favorites. I think
Absolutely.
Oxygen really, if anything, we're going to get an upset victory. A lot of people would look at this one if Oxygen won, thinking, what the heck did Oxygen do? What did they eat that morning? What is their sense? What are their monitor settings? All of that. So map 1 goes the way that we expected, especially with the map that we hadn't seen from Pearl. But now we have the inverse. There is a chance. I said if this was going to go the way of Oxygen, it needs to go all 3. Obviously, the guard want to stop that, but they're headed into some unknown territory. Oxygen have forced another card in their hand. Map 2 will be Haven. Obviously, we have our highlights for this one, our desk to talk about it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left. remaining. Be faster. Seconds left. I punish you. You dead. Yikes.
Nowhere to run!
Enemy remaining. Flawless.
With eBay Refurbished, you have a choice of refurbished qualities to best fit your budget. Certified refurbished items are restored by the manufacturer to like new for up to 50% off. This drill was barely out of the box. Soon it will be back to working like new. Here's how it works. Every item is carefully inspected. Any imperfections are fixed by the manufacturer or manufacturer-approved vendor. Then it's tested to make sure it's working perfectly. Once it passes inspection, it's given the verified stamp of approval. Then repackaged with new accessories and shipped to its ultimate destination. With Certified Refurbished, you can shop with confidence because all our manufacturers go through a rigorous vetting process. And every purchase comes with an award-winning 2-year warranty, a money-back guarantee, and hassle-free returns. That's what makes it the smarter way to shop for premium brands. eBay Refurbished. Like new products, better than new prices.
Welcome back, everyone, to the desk as we try and break down that first game that we got to see. I have still, I think, quite a few questions when it comes to Pearl, why it was picked, this Yoru coming out. I mean, Emily, help me out a little bit here. Help me make a little sense of this.
I was personally very happy to see the Yoru pick. I always appreciate when teams do different comps than what we usually see. Did we see the high Yoru tech that we needed to see for a win? I'm not quite sure, but I respect the choice in trying to use Yoru. Lots of thrifties also happened to make note of, so that did quite some econ damage on the first half. It was close, it was 7-5. But once we swapped over to the other side, it looked much more in favor of the guard.
I have to agree. I love a Yoru pick on this map specifically. Do I love Yoru all the time? No. I do like a gamble. I like when teams try something new. It's the same with Moist in the last map of the last series where they went with the same comp as Loud from Lock-In. It's a normal comp. No one really expects you to play that. Well, it didn't work for them here and it didn't work for them either. I still applaud it. I like the idea of taking a risk. Unfortunately, it did feel like the util wasn't really used to its full potential. Pwny does end up struggling in the series, but I think that could also be just an indicator of the way the team played as a whole. One of the things we talked about coming into the series was how the guard plays together. They are a unit, cohesive, they work together. Look at the number 19. You're going to see it quite a few times there. As JonahP finishes 19-11, Tex finishes 19-11, Trent finishes 19-8. 3 players with matching performances, all within 20 ACS. In fact, Tex and Trent have the same ACS. And even more important is the entry kills. Because, we had talked about it. Pwny is a really good entry fragger. He showed it in the previous series, but he was neutralized by the guard here.
He was, and we called that out in the beginning, right? The guard is known for that. They're known for being anti-duelists and shutting the duelists down on what they love to do, which is duel and go in, get space, get the opening picks for their team. I love the fact also that the guard, I noticed, was just reading Oxygen Esports very well. They noticed that Oxygen was finding a lot more success over at A when they were hitting. They had a beautiful Viper wall, a strong poison orb from her to allow them to get space and cut off the duelist opping pick from Text. So they were finding a lot of success at A, but they were counter-stratting. They had a perfect time for a perfect pause and read that they most likely liked ending at A. So then we saw that they were starting to stack more towards A and shutting them down.
Yeah, what's the big thing for me with Oxygen Esports is I find it's a team that as soon as they're on a map or in a position where they feel comfortable, all of a sudden everybody just starts absolutely shining. And I don't really feel like I got to see that comfort for them over on Pearl, especially with this duelist change into the Yoru. But going into our map 2, which is, funny enough, the guard's pick, this is a map where Oxygen Esports has found a lot of comfort. This is actually one of their first picks a lot of the time.
Yeah, this is one of those flip-flops in the picks where Oxygen was like, oh, we're going to surprise them. We're going to pick Pearl because we've seen them play Pearl and they've never seen us play Pearl. And then Haven's like, or the guard is like, you know what? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and take Haven. We've seen you play Haven. potentially even more than you've seen us play Pearl. So we're going to use what we've learned and hide what we've been working on. And ultimately, you end up in this weird scenario where teams could ultimately steal each other's map picks, which we see sometimes happen at this level of play. I don't know if that's going to happen here because, again, we don't know what to expect from the guard on this map. I do think that Oxygen will feel a lot more comfortable on Haven. I don't expect to see a peculiar agent composition like we did there with the Yoru. I think that this is far more comfortable territory for Oxygen and an opportunity for them to take things to a third map in the series. I could even have seen this if they took map 1. I could see this have going 2-0 for Oxygen just because of the fact that this map should be where they feel at home. It's a map they've played a lot, and I just don't know if the guard is going to bring anything special to the table on Haven.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Oxygen Esports has a very strong Haven. They have a 75% win rate on it. But like you were saying, the guard picked it for a reason. They're going to counter-strat them, and the guard has the experience needed to turn any situation into their favor. Oxygen Esports is known of being a very strong defensive team, so we have to make note of that as well, and you know, how the guard's going to take it over.
And you touch upon it, the point there, the experience. This is mostly the guard roster from last year. It's the same team almost that made it to Masters. It's the same team that really surprised a lot of people in their early VCT runs. And even though they had a disappointing Stage 2 following their loss in Iceland, it doesn't matter. The fact is this team has been playing together for a long time, whereas a lot of the teams currently playing in Challengers came in forming the roster at the start of this year or at the tail end of last year. And that alone tells us that they have plenty of experience playing on this map, just maybe not in the current meta. What does that mean? I don't know, because again, we haven't really seen a whole lot from them on this specific map. We haven't seen them play it once throughout the Challenger stage, throughout groups, or from their earlier bracket match. So there's a possibility that they've been cooking something up in the lab. I still got to give it to them for an advantage just because of how good the team is on paper. They are statistically one of the stronger teams. I think they were the heavy favorites coming into this first split. I think it was them and M80 were number 1 and number 2 on almost everyone's power rankings, which ended up being mostly true. The guard, I feel like they had that one down week and then everyone doubted them a little bit, but I still think this team is a fantastic team. This is a difficult task for Oxygen, but I want to find that silver lining, and it's in the fact that this is Haven, their map typically throughout the regular season through the group stage.
Yeah, and I don't want to take anything away from Oxygen Esports, because if there's a team that can take maps away and potentially win versus the guard, it is them. But, you know, we did hear JonahP and Net talking before the match started, the previous map, and they sounded full-on confident. They were ready for this match.
I mean, if there is ever a map that I think Oxygen Esports could take off at anybody here, it is Haven. So it's time to see if they can be taking us to a map 3 now, or if the guard has that perfect strategy cooking that they're about to show us all. It's time for our agent select and to throw it over to Dan and Tanner.
If there was ever a map, this would be it. Dryad Haven, the pick of Oxygen. They force the hand of the guard. And we get to see. Obviously, I think a lot of people maybe a little unimpressed by the Yoru on Pearl, but what we did see yesterday was pwny diffing on the Jet. Now that we move out to Haven, we should get that same pwny diff.
Yeah, and if you're on the side of Oxygen, that is a little bit more of the performance that you're expecting and you're hoping to see for that map number 2 to take us all the way to that third one, because pwny on the Jet was insane yesterday. They took down G2 on it, and it was a little bit of back and forth, but it was honestly a Jet diff all the way until the end against Oxy as well, one of the best players that we have on this role. So we need to see that performance for pwny again, and I believe 100% is going to be possible. It feels like this map is so well planned and executed for Oxygen that I want to see what they got against the guard.
Yeah, this is the team of upsets. We saw it early in the split. We got to see it yesterday. I think G2 coming in the favorites, and then when you look at this one, the guard coming in the favorites, but Oxygen can look to do it. No changes on the side of Oxygen Esports, and well, the comp is exactly the same on the side of the guard. So we're mirrored comped out, and it really is going to come down to how much pwny can get done in neutralizing techs. And also, I'm always a little worried about Net, especially starting on the defense. So pwny are going to have to find a way to deal with that Killjoy as well.
The Sentinels here that play a very interesting role between the two. For Net, even though he always seems a little more quiet compared to other Sentinels that we've seen in other Killjoys, he's always quietly getting his own kills and giving that support. The way that he strongholds the sites, it's something that not other players are able to do. But I mean, for the guard, this is why this team works out so well, as you can expect. An aggressive pistol round towards mid.
Very aggressive paranoia. Held on by valyn here. Players just about spotted, and I believe we're going to see the stun. Oh, okay, well, the first of the diffs go the way of Tex. Now we start to get that util, and that aggression starting to go the way of the guard. They cut it down to just one as randyySAVAGE, a classic in hand, in an attempt at a 1v4. Unfortunately, those shots do not land in the guard. Grab the pistol.
And it was the same pistol round, actually, on the attacking side that we saw yesterday, but the difference is that the guard, they hold about 5 seconds, just a little bit longer before going for that swing and for the paranoia and everything else. Just when the side of Oxygen thinks they're safe and they made it past that mid, the side of the guard is ready to attack and get those kills. So pistol round going to side of the guard. The guard read once again onto Oxygen, as now they're gonna make any investments. We've seen a couple of them here and there, but going towards that ace side.
Scuba with the shrouded step. Past the stun, and he's walked his way all the way up towards that smoke. He's going to play just outside it next to randyySAVAGE, who comes into this one with a couple of nano swarms. See if that util gets used at all. Smoke on the opposite side. A flash comes out. One player spotted. Shock guard's now queued up. valyn finds the first kill. Some damage traded back and forth, but Oxygen on the losing end of the trade, and a player falling those nano swarms that I talked about, but not over just yet. Mitch going to try and find some space out towards B. He's met by Net. And the player that we mentioned is kind of just the catch-all, right? Where Trent and JonahP might be scooping up 3Ks and 4Ks, doing some things flashy. Net is here to catch anything that slips through the cracks, and Mitch is trying to be that.
And the one player that we talked about, Net, as always, just patiently waiting, trying to give that support to the side of the guard. Gonna get spotted though. One of the players is gonna be backside, but the damage wasn't really good for the guard. Just need to close it out here.
And not awful though. Verno falls. valyn finds a 3K pwny. Gonna try and plant his feet and fight his way out of this one. Unfortunately could not, but a spike planted for Oxygen means we'll have some extra credits. Tex getting a little sturdy on the spike. Will eventually toss the defuse over to JonahP, working towards that rolling thunder.
Okay, yeah. And this is where it gets a little more interesting for Oxygen. The executions that we saw and the reason why he was able to jet diff yesterday was because of the faster entry from pwny on that C side, even towards that A side. We got to see a couple times. Now that you have the rifles, there's more chances to see that one coming on A. And the guard does the thing. They're so careful on when they're going to be pushing forward with this defensive side. They're going to have a Sova and the Killjoy set up towards A. The early control is going to be everything for them to communicate with everybody else.
An early feint into A lobby from Oxygen.
Trying to wrap around, yeah.
Is met by this from the guard. Pushing all the way down. Will be revealed by the alarm bot, though. Good placement there from randyySAVAGE to make sure that this does not go unchecked. An ult door picked up means one step closer for JonahP. Meanwhile, pwny has a high ground here on this B site. They also have good coverage on the cross. Revealed. Fault line comes through. Spike gets planted. A dash onto the side. It's Tex to be the first one up. valyn deals with pwny on the way out, and he wants some more as he dances around it. It's Mitch to trade it back with JonahP there quicker on the draw.
No
Two
way.
players dead now for the attack.
And again, Oxygen end up going for the B side. As Verno's trying to fight, and just to get a couple, and okay, Oxygen finally capitalizing 3v2, Trent and JonahP. Two initiators, last one alive for this round, but the spike has been planted. The 3 players on the attacking side, they know exactly where this can be coming from. JonahP though, from garage. It's fine. randyySAVAGE able to answer in time, and yeah, everybody from the guard shut down. First round for Oxygen.
Yeah, big kills there, especially from Verno. Verno found that kill. I believe it was on Tex crossing through that site, and that made the round pretty unwinnable with JonahP's HP. Trent there as well. But through death, Rolling Thunder available. However, I don't want to say flawless, but a pretty strong win allows Oxygen to reinvest fully. So we are full force for both of these teams. Tex will have that operator. We'll see how they dance around that one, or if they dance around that one. And it seems to be just a Killjoy turret trying to find this early information.
It really doesn't get too much, you know, a possibility of one of the players, but inside of the smoke, no way, there's a war. valyn gets a vest of scuba. We'll also do the same to randyySAVAGE. And this is what I mean, right? For the guard, they're so careful on when they're taking these aggressive positions. And inside the smoke, they're able to take care of it. pwny, though, trying to answer back as the spike gets planted towards C.
If they're going to do it, they're going to do it together. But a situation that started like this for the guard last time ended up in Oxygen's hands. So we'll see if they can turn 4v3 around. Rolling Thunder on the backside. JonahP, though, still dealt with. Stunned up was Mitch, but he still finds a kill. Now both players noted. And what do they have to try and stall? Vault line for the first. The dart landed
Mitch
right on top of Verno, and he just has no way out. Now he has to try and play the shock darts, play the rifle. valyn gonna stick to defuse. Two players thrown at him. The spike to be defused. The kills will go the way of Verno. But it's the guard's round.
Oh, there's no way. Right at the end, Verno going crazy, 3 kills, but still 3 rounds for the guard. As Oxygen keep their 1, Mitch needed that 1 kill to guarantee that Rolling Thunder. Needed a little bit more, but the fuse just sticks in time, and Verno needed 1 more second to work with. These are the kind of rounds, though, that we saw yesterday. Playing towards long, playing so well for Oxygen. And starting to wake up, but now this is the time where we need to see the results. Good start, there it is.
Off your feet!
And this is what worked. pwny running out towards A long, just dealing with the players that were trying to challenge him. And they go back to it. Quick out. 2 for 1 trade thus far. A turret to push on through. valyn in a rough spot, though. The weapons aren't the best for the remaining guard members.
I mean, even after that round, it was so expensive after everybody got taken out by Verno. So allows Oxygen to go back to the faster style that they like to bring. You got it.
You got it.
valyn and Hex, the last ones here. Yeah, because of how expensive it was, he didn't have too much. This is the rounds that you're hoping, if you're on Oxygen side, they're going to give it the confidence to snowball into a little bit more. Because Oxygen, they love to play aggressive. They've been shot down by the guard now a couple times. This last map is another history, but for this one, they can reset and go again.
Cover going.
valyn and Tex have exits on the mind. See if they're given anything. Up the backside. Recon Bolt confirms that, and the rest of the team going to escape their way out towards long. So Oxygen will find another round here. A pretty explosive one against the lesser buy of the guard. But I'd love to see him keep that energy up, right? Keep that same energy moving into the next round.
Yep.
That economy starts working forward. Blades just about online for pwny. I mean, they're around the corner from some big ultimates to swing these rounds.
Gonna be 1 away from the Hunter's Fury. To shot down Net's attempt at a lockdown, even aggressively. I mean, that's what we saw yesterday, aggressively using that Hunter's Fury, guaranteeing a pick R2. And Verno is usually good for it, so just something to keep an eye on as the guard. They want to go aggressive again towards A. Last time they were able to bait Trent to hold him on this position because he also wants to have the Hunter's Fury of his own as a set of Oxygen. Quietly push towards C. The drone reveal. Nobody up close. And yeah, there's the lockdown.
Oof. I mean, a really great read from Oxygen Esports, right? To take this C site. Nobody here is on it. This lockdown is supposed to force everybody off, and they were hoping that it pushed them into the welcome arms of the defenders that were moving their way through the A site. But instead, Scuba finds the first kills. 2 players detained. Not like this. Net has absolutely no idea, and pwny's allowed to tee off, but he only gets one. A beautiful flash to find its way through makes this one look doable from the guard. They're looking to salvage. As the smokes are out, the health bars, they're low. Trent will deal with one of three. Scuba falls, Hunter Fury now queued up, and nobody can get anywhere near this spike. As JonahP and Trent just have no way back into this round. And Oxygen Esports have found a way to tie us up.
Wow, what a good play as well. I can't believe pwny stayed alive and was able to get his one. I mean, as that killjoy, I can't blame you. You're not expecting one of the players to actually commit into sight and just get the right timing at us. He was no longer unable to move. So 3-3. And this is kind of the Oxygen that we know. The Oxygen that we've seen the last couple of weeks. The Oxygen that we saw yesterday. Haven, by far, just seems like their better map.
Revealing area.
They want to go fast. Slow down, though. Courtesy of the fault line. Only still on the angle. This is what we said we want to see.
Yeah. And what he was doing before the dark cover is good. Like, pwny won it. He's considering swinging out of it, but now we'll be playing it safe. Playing for his life as well.
Almost a juicy shock dart there. Three players were standing there for a moment. Obviously not going for the players, going for that killjoy utility, but...
Again, towards C.
Yeah, an open C site should be revealed by the turret. But you have randyySAVAGE as your long con.
And it's on A.
All the way in the back lines.
Oh.
That's tough. Okay, never mind. Should he pull back here?
Yeah,
He
he's
probably
doing it
has
now.
the best game. Yep, and he hears the footsteps too. He's got the best play of the game right here. Catches JonahP with utility out. Can't quite find the kill. Does eventually through the box. Paranoia as Trent goes back to try and win the fight. Those are the weapons. Those are the rifles that they brought into this round. But they've all been taken down as randyySAVAGE grabs control and Tex. Tex, what can you do? You're completely crunched as two players assume this position out towards long. And Net, who was forced off the site with 25 HP, has to try and retake it. He's only got a sheriff.
Oh, I can't believe randyySAVAGE actually gets away with that. It seemed like the timing was going to be off. A couple seconds would have made a difference. He was not going to spot anybody. They managed to get one, and then the rest of the guard, as they were behind, they go for the swing. And one by one, they get taken down by the killjoy. A crazy play as well. I think nobody, no Oxygen or the guard, were expecting it, but randyySAVAGE feeling pretty good about it. Now enabling that lockdown to be there for the set of Oxygen.
Turret out.
The guard, they're not happy with it. Disadvantage. Potentially an aggressive push here.
Very aggressive push here. Tex all the way up. A Hunter Fury to add to the chaos. Aftershock there as well. Trent will find the first. Scuba now forced to duel with two players out towards mid. And Tex was never noted in this situation. He's going to grab one on his way out. A 2-for-1 trade after all the chaos subsides. Oxygen Esports still fighting their way out of the spawn. pwny, Scuba, worse for wear.
And the guard, they go aggressive until they have the numbers advantage, the 4v3 that we're in right now. And then immediately everybody back to their positions, back to that safety. And for valyn is going to be playing towards short. Knows that a couple of players were on the A side and pwny's so low.
Nobody better than pwny in a situation like this. Ooh,
30
JonahP
seconds left.
takes the first duel. He'll lose it. The odds are even, but valyn undetected this entire time as the deposit down towards sewers. The tap on the spike. Don't commit it just yet. Recon bolts up and out as the util still in hand. Trent has no rifle to fight with. Now they know the position of valyn, but can they assume the position of Net?
I mean, as long as you know there's one behind, they get to have the spike planted like this. Planted for the 2 players of Oxygen. Pwny's so low, so depending a little bit more on Scuba, but Pwny, yeah, immediately down.
Yeah, smoke onto the site though. Shrouded step with smoke on the spike on the inside.
No
Both
way.
Omens duel, but valyn comes out on top. Scuba just about had the play. The guard will tie us up.
Yeah, another fight between these 2 Omens that we see inside of the dark cover, but once again, valyn good for it, and able to answer for his team just in time is the IGL. In a play that from the beginning had to go their way, right? They go aggressive, and this is kind of the coordination that always highlights the guard so much. They are so careful with the aggression. They take the advantage and immediately back up. Even if it turns to a 1v1, they're able to close it out. So Oxygen still pretty close, but looking at those resources that they have in their hands, that lockdown, and everybody making it fast towards A.
I mean, Tex is just stuck in the middle of all of it. No way out. Mitch will make sure of it. Trent here on the close angle. He's also gone undetected. Not like this. So much dealt with there. A kill and the lockdown completely erased. But the round's not over for Oxygen. They're a player ahead. They're still reared up to hit this site. Pwny getting a little spooked there. Uses that updraft. Finds absolutely nothing in Oxygen. Looked to back away from it.
Oh, it was a crazy back and forth. Trent was waiting for another player to push here. But because the lockdown wasn't really available, went for that decision to shut it down, take it down, before it affected the rest of the side of the guard. And still, though, it plays to the advantage of Oxygen. Very, very quiet towards his A side, and it creates that rotation, that fake confidence for valyn that it's not going to end up towards A. You know, it's completely clear for Oxygen to take.
30 seconds left.
They will do so diligently. Still using that util. Smokes are out. Paranoia across the site. Only look for something aggressive. Wasn't obviously given anything. Oxygen, an interesting start to this round for Trent. Made things look a little crazy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's going to be Oxygen who look to claim a lead here. They're a couple of kills away from doing so.
And they've been able to get the lead, but seems like once more they're gonna guarantee it as valyn and JonahP. We're all the way towards that C site. Get closer to get kills, but it was not the round for this defensive side of the guard. As Pwny guarantees one more kill, JonahP going down in his hands, and Oxygen 5 rounds on the attacking side.
valyn gonna bring a hero rifle into this one as we take a look back at all the awkwardness. If Trent gets another one there, I don't know how that round ends up, but fortunately that wasn't the case, and with Oxygen to take a lead, it does force a timeout out of the guard.
The timeouts, again, have been really strong for the guard throughout challengers. They really try to figure out how this Oxygen squad is going to play out. And this is not the Yoru that we saw in Pearl. This is a more standard composition on this map, but that is able to find success thanks to the plays like Pwny going in and managing to get to, or even Verno, who has been highlighted now a couple times. But yeah, both of the teams fighting to continue on this winner's bracket. Don't want to get taken down to the lowers. Don't want to lose that chance. It's actually one of the things that valyn talked about, or this side of the guard they talked about on the interview, the post-match interview yesterday. How you like to get those early victories. It gives you the safety, that comfort, that in case things go wrong, at least it's not so early. At least there's things that you can fix, and because of that, both teams having that same mentality, trying to stay alive. Oxygen, of course, down by 1 map, but trying to recover.
Standing ahead. Shock dart.
Another money shock dart. It doesn't seem like it quite landed on the mark. To 3 players out towards B. Back away from it. One hero rifle with the blades online protects a good Rolling Thunder to open up the site. Pwny's already on it. Paranoia comes through. They want to try and take it fast, but there go the blades. Pwny gets the diff on attacks here. valyn, that one rifle, tries to take the next duel, and how about it? Pwny does it again. 2 kills. And basically, all of the worry, any bit of anything that the guard had were dealt with at the beginning of that round, at the beginning of that retake. No knives, no rifle, no round.
Yeah, so quick as well. As Tex tried getting a timing into Pwny, but no chance. Pwny, once he's on fire, is absolutely unstoppable. He leaves Net the last one alive. Of course, we know the timeout that the guard took was not really for this round, but
Cover going out.
the one that is to come next. The read was good, but the Rolling Thunder and any one of those advantages, those ultimates to close it out, and yeah, Pwny, good for 3.
And you know, something that was mentioned, I think it did go both ways. Maybe a little more leaning in favor of the guard. But Emily said there was a lot of thrifty round wins. And, you know, maybe thrifty round wins that should not have happened. And here on Haven, that is something that Oxygen are making sure does not happen, right? No hero rifle, no knives, no nothing. They're making sure that they're not giving up rounds or giving the guard the inch that they need.
Yeah. We saw a couple of those in the map, number 1, but even before that, other matches for these two teams are pretty good at the thinker rounds. Just because of that surprise factor that they have. Oxygen have always had that in the guard as well, with a little bit more of what we've been talking about. As now 3 of the players push towards from C long, and the operator's not going to connect early on, immediately forcing the Jet to back up.
Ooh,
oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, given another fight, able to right his wrongs. Pwny does good damage onto him, but 45 health is more than enough for an operator to take another shot. See if that flash is enough to do it. It does buy out one more. Mitch gonna get that spike planted. Back away from it. 5 players out for the retake.
Oh, and a little bit of damage that Tex had to take early on, but his teammates should be able to take care of it if everything goes well. And yeah, of course, valyn is gonna do it. Scuba and Verno down.
And
last player standing.
I mean, how interesting is it all? randyySAVAGE sprays down one. Nanoswarm for the next. That spike is halfway, though. Turret's down. Tex low HP. Still has... No, it's actually a rifle, so this duel could go either way. There's just 4 players on the other side. valyn sticks it the rest of the way. And although randyySAVAGE made it look doable for a moment, this round will go the way of the guard. But Dryad, can we mention how we had not seen Pearl? And it was for Oxygen Esports, we hadn't seen Pearl. And Mitch comes out pretty hot on the map. Has himself as the IGL a pretty good idea of how he wants to play it as a team and as a player. And he does well for really the first half of the game.
Yeah.
And then we go over to Haven, where we've got no idea what to expect from the guard. A map that they have played before, sure. But if there was anything, you know, worrying, valyn is here to make sure that... there are no worries, right? The IGL is stepping up when they're needed the most. And I think we saw a lot of that in that last round where valyn gets 2 kills that he has no right to claim.
Yeah. So, again, yeah, guard have never played this map in Challengers. They actually have the smallest map pool of what they've shown, right? So, it plays to their advantage in a way, and although the compositions here are the same, it tries to help and tries to benefit the side of the guard, right, with the kind of executions and the plays that they want to have into it, but still incredibly even between the two. randyySAVAGE actually taking some damage as he got closer and closer to that B side. In the guard, they want to get away with this round. 3 players on the A side, where it seems like Oxygen want to end up.
And randyySAVAGE on the stink end of that duel. Net just sprayed a bulldog burst through the wall, and it found heaps of damage. valyn, though, in a bit of a tricky spot. Paranoia should delay. Unaffected by all of this, by the way, is JonahP. We'll see how much he's able to get done. Scuba just about caught with his pants down and his util out, and that's exactly the case. Net finds that frag for players now stacked up, and they were ready for it. He tried to go surfing through the sky, but it did not matter. And with the site being taken, 14 seconds left on the clock. We'll see if they try and push the pace here. Alarm bot's down. Nano swarms to follow. Hunter sure he's trying to deal with the ultimate, but instead it's Verno to get run down, and randyySAVAGE has to do it with 13 HP. He's been detained, and this half is over.
Accepting the defeat at the end as randyySAVAGE couldn't move, couldn't do anything else. And the play was good, but a lot of pressure as the time was running out. It's gonna tie things up 6-6 between the two teams. The initiation here for Oxygen was good though. It feels a little more consistent, right? Once we get to see pwny on the jet, and once we get to see him get those flashy plays, and I mean, yeah, we get to see just now Verno as well. Having a conversation of their own. But again, a map that we haven't seen for the guard throughout challengers. And they're adapting on the fly. And you mentioned it, right? It's all up to valyn when things are going wrong and when is the first time that they're really showing it. They want to make sure that they're able to close out rounds like that one.
Now somebody else gonna have to mount the helm. Oxygen on the defense. Tech's quick to take this C site, and I mean it's about to be a blur here in this round. And well, green smeared across the kill feed as the eyes are blurred for the players of the guard. But the health is looking pretty shaky for Oxygen. That was not an easy defense by any means.
Look at the damage, though. Everybody incredibly low on the side of
Cover going out.
the fake confidence of the 5 players, right? The 3 alive here. They go for the spike plant. They go for that positioning for the guard towards A side, and it seems like, yeah, it's gonna be planted just fine. This is still doable.
3 players are a body shot away from death, though, so Oxygen
Enemy down.
still have to be perfect in this, and that is not one of those players. That was a headshot away from death. randyySAVAGE battles back for another. Trent gets revealed and taken down. There's surely no way that valyn can find a way back into this one. He swaps weapons, and that will be his undoing. As Oxygen Esports grab themselves a pistol and start marching forward.
Now flee.
Advantage once again for Oxygen. They've gotten the taste of it a couple of times, but for that one it has to be, and it has to feel especially good, as the early damage seemed to be enough, and it seemed to be everything that they needed against the guard. No force here for the attacking side, and a little bit more of what highlighted pwny so much yesterday. The aggression here towards long. The duel that we want to see between the 2 jets.
Deploying drone. Enemy mark.
That's a lot of information. That's a lot of information. Stunned up. pwny just about taken down. Verno bails him out. pwny allowed to survive. And how about the round?
Spike down
Verno
A.
does more than bail out pwny. He finds 3 more before eventually falling.
I talked about the aggression towards A long, but I mean, that's one way to shut it down for the guard. Oxygen and Verno especially saw the pwny was in trouble. Don't worry. With a Bulldog, he was going to take care of it. Going to take care of most of the kills needed over there, leaving Trent alone with 59 HP. And on the other side, Oxygen getting to 8.
And 8th picked up a pretty strong
Area.
8th as well. It's not your Spectres. It's a couple of Bulldogs.
30 seconds left.
pwny just wants to survive and hang on to that Guardian. Mitch will allow him to do so. pwny did find a kill, but this round really belongs to Verno. Not only bailing out the Jet who had gotten stunned,
Yeah.
and then also was running into the wall and just couldn't sneak away. I think it was valyn who was trying to punish, but Verno grabs 3 kills, eventually gets traded. And as we said, this bonus, although it is still a bonus, you can see by the guns that they have, it's not the weakest of the buys that you could hope for Oxygen Esports.
I mean, talk about Verno, 16-6 on this map. One of the win conditions that we talked about for Oxygen is everybody having to play their A game. But also, when one of them is just having a phenomenal performance, it helps so much. The way it's been able to do for Verno. Still though, holding the Bulldog. Not going for the strong buy as the Guard wanted to contest it early on. Do not want to even allow that spike to be planted. And yeah, holding it up close, pwny goes down.
valyn starting hot here in this one. A player still backside as valyn will find another. Eventually dealt with by the Hunter's Fury, but the trades are there and they're in favor of the Guard. JonahP not the happiest about where his health will land, so this one,
Can't use that yet.
I mean, it's really 10 HP away from a 2v2.
But in the meantime, 2v3. The good aggression that came through from the Guard to secure just a little bit more, to secure those numbers. Even though the round has already been expensive, I think there's a chance here for Verno and Mitch. Both of them full HP playing together, but Mitch going down makes things so much more difficult. Trying to find, isolate those duels. Can he do it?
Nobody better. Verno on 3 in the last round, needs to do it again here in this one. Net's the first one up. That weapon's been upgraded, but there's only 10 rounds left in the magazine. Fault line comes through out from long. Next up might just be Trent, the full HP Sova, expecting the jump peak, but just not given anything as he crosses back towards garage. There's no time left. Verno gonna find the kills. Maybe one more on the way out. Yes, he does. 4 kills. The support player of Oxygen, but the Guard still rewarded with the round.
Oh, what is that now? 19-6 for Verno? 20-6.
Wow.
I mean, insane. This player trying to keep Oxygen alive and trying to keep Oxygen in the lead with anything. Even for this clutch. Was almost good for it, but the time, of course, playing against him, and there's nothing you can do about it. Still though, the lead that Oxygen is able to keep for longer, 8-7. Net on the attacking side with a lockdown. More aggressive push with everybody on this A site.
Take flight.
And a reminder that that was just a bonus round, right? This next buy is incredible for Oxygen. It's not great for the Guard.
It's uncomfortable, yeah. Very uncomfortable. Wanting to see that a lockdown come through for a net. Just trying to create that space though, but they're gonna fight it and they're not gonna find anybody up close.
Haven't found anything just yet. Retake imminent. Not a heap of tools in way of ultimates to do it though. So it'll be everything allowed to the characters just in general. randyySAVAGE gets a little too aggressive. valyn also gonna deal with the rest of this defense, and holy, okay, I mean, it's once more a blur, but this time it is not in favor of Oxygen. A sheet's flawless for the Guard to tie us up.
Yeah, the time is so good. I mean, played so well. The lockdown comes in, and Oxygen, they make that decision to actually play aggressive, try to shut it down, but the Guard was expecting exactly that. And with that, everybody down, and we're tied up once again. We've seen it so many times throughout this match, through the map number 1, and now this map number 2 of Haven. The first time that we get to see it for the Guard, and they're absolutely putting up a fight. So is Oxygen, as they attempt to get this thrifty. Verno, the only one with a Vandal.
Yeah, I've been going to the Church of Verno, and he told me 1 rifle is all they need. That rifle's still in play. Blinded though is pwny. He gets a little too aggressive, and slowly but surely that rifle in tow. The health bars are low, and just like that, it looks doable. Net left in a 1v3, healthy on the Killjoy. Util just around the corner, and that rifle wasn't even the linchpin in the play.
Oh, you said the one Vandal, 1 rifle is all they need, but The sheriffs are just enough for the job. A 1v3 for Net. Absolutely expecting him to be holding this spike. Hard to find, and with that, Net forced to back up. It's just so unbelievable, and such a good read for Oxygen. Everybody was on that seaside in a matter of seconds.
Mitch might get caught out here, though.
Turret's destroyed.
Expecting the push. Back out towards long.
Nope.
No, he doesn't. The shots go over the shoulder, and an eBay thrifty. Oxygen reclaim their lead.
I know I said that they were looking for the thrifty. I was not actually expecting this out of Oxygen to pull it off. And you said that the desk have brought up a couple scenarios where both of these two teams get those thrifties, both Oxygen and the guard. Wow, but the way that they did it in such a fast fashion, such a fast entry on that seaside, denying any opportunity, any space that the guard wanted to take. Yeah, it is actually Oxygen once again with the lead, but also with the timeout. They want to make sure that this map goes their way.
I don't know what the buy looks like for the guard, but we are really slim pickings. Okay, so it is going to be a full purchase, but it's been that back and forth of both teams struggling with economy. That last one obviously feels great for Oxygen Esports. I think the guard we're hoping that was their round, right? Where not only do they get a lead again, but they start to bolster their economy. Maybe they do so near flawlessly, like we've seen for, the majority of their rifle wins versus eco rounds that Oxygen bring into this one. I mentioned thrifties earlier in the game.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen a whole lot. Now, they're
is.
popping up. Yeah, they're popping up like groundhogs.
Now we get to see them more, and as the ultimates look heavy towards the side of the guard, I mean, Oxygen is just one away from a couple of them. It's a good chance here. A little bit of aggression for valyn, but gonna back up. That's gonna keep Oxygen guessing, but this operator, though, should be able to spot one. Yeah, get stacked. It doesn't matter, Pwny. Ready for it.
Ooh, oh man, they lull him in too. Say, hey, why don't you deal with this omen that's teleporting in your face, and we'll hit you with a rolling thunder. Net there to collect that kill on the stunned up Pwny. Only had a shorty. The back end of that operator play. Spike planted 4v4 and a paranoia to stop that util.
Oh, and that was good for Pwny. Potentially good for two, but yeah, the positioning perfect for the killjoy off net to push from garage. As the Hunter Fury comes through, though, damage on both sides for Oxygen to take advantage. 3v2.
Defeated.
Ooh. Trent went wide on shots 2 and 3 of that Hunter Fury. But still queued up to try and take this round. Recon bolt in hand, and fortunately Net was still alive because Trent was not ready for it. And the guard tie us up.
This is what I mean, though, about Net. You don't see him until you really see him. He's being very patient, playing around the team, playing a little bit for those timings. But when he has to push forward and when he has to get that kill into Pwny, you're sure that he's going to do it. Guarantee the last ones as well. As guard, once again, tied up 9-9. You got to see who gets to double digits. Potentially a little bit stronger now on the side of Oxygen. Heard immediately shot down towards mid. Aggressive push that the defense wants to take, and Pwny position for it.
That doesn't feel great.
All right, Net.
Aggression from the defense, and there's your catch-all once more. Oxygen trying to find their way through the drain, and they're caught by the filter that is Net. But a trade kill back, and 2 players with the rifle, one without randyySAVAGE will happily scoop that one up as they work their way now to navigate through this 3v4.
It's interesting because they go for that aggression, though that Rolling Thunder for Mitch was available. Unfortunately, it's one of the ones that get caught early on. And so this defense just becomes so much more difficult. The swing had to be on time, and of course it is for Tex. Getting back and taking full control of the situation. The guard, 10 rounds now. And We talked about it. Once we were approaching this point, this is when you start to think. Throughout challengers, throughout that split number 1, the guard, they never went to 3 maps. A lot of them were close, very, very close. But that's okay, they always closed it in 2. And now we're starting to see that possibility. It's been back and forth, but when the guard takes the lead, especially in that position, you're gonna make sure it goes their way. In Oxygen, they have to fight back. Make sure there's no chance. It is their destiny as well.
And Tex just throwing caution to the win. Blindly peeks out towards long after being stunned and revealed by the recon bolt. Nobody home, so he keeps his life.
Playing a little bit slower. Once again, pwny with the operator on C. As to be expected. Scuba, though, with a forward position on Cubby.
The retake on A and the retake on C is very strong for Oxygen. It gets a little harder on this B site when you know that everybody's going to be playing off the site, should that be the case. First up shot goes wide. Scuba fished out of the Cubby. Unfortunately, pwny put in an awkward spot. Hacker lockdown comes through. Net to try and help this team take this site in the only safe spot. Well, that's been cleared out. pwny is no more.
And the play wasn't bad. The play was actually pretty good for Oxygen. Just having pwny all the way back with an operator trying to swing off the contact for Scuba. But Scuba got taken down all by himself. pwny had no visibility. The operator also doesn't connect. They were expecting it. And just from that, it all goes wrong. Oxygen gonna back cap, gonna save.
It's difficult. Maybe a world where, I don't even want to say it, right? A 3v5 is possible, but randyySAVAGE getting caught on the way out down to 2 HP, just, you can't afford to risk it, especially with the way that their economy sitting shaky. 2 HP enough, though. 2 more than he needed to take down JonahP.
Yep.
Went on the hunt. Nobody else really in the vicinity of the Oxygen players. Some random recon bolt gets sent out. That's the one that my ranked teammates use.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I don't want to say this is not a tally in the curse column, but there was once a point where one of the casters on the desk mentioned that Verno was 20-6. Since that point, Verno now 20-9, just struggling to be in the right place at the right time. I think the one time we saw Verno about to get some success, he got timing by Tex in the retake out towards A.
And that's the point, right? At this point, with how close it's been, it feels like Verno has done enough. And it was the time for everybody else to come up on top and get that support. But yeah, these are the things that kind of happen. randyySAVAGE goes down. Verno, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Verno gets one back. Scuba here. Still fighting for the site, not giving it up just yet. 47 HP, but he's completely flashed. Verno bails him out and backs away with 5 HP. Oxygen, a player ahead here. In a round where JonahP got a kill that he had no reason to get there. Good rolling thunder, but we get one right back in response. JonahP trying to find his way back into this round, make it his own. Stunned up was pwny. He only needs 1 shot, no spam necessary from the Guardian. And this round, the 10th for Oxygen.
In Oxygen, every single one of those kills, it seems like they were fighting demons. The demons of the guard, but finally they capitalized from it. Verno, was that a curse? Was that a blessing, the fact that you brought it up again and he got 3? Blessing? I don't know. You gotta see if it's gonna be a little bit more of that from Verno. But one of the things that he said as well in the early round was, I mean, at this point, Verno is doing everything that he got. This is the time for pwny to also do the same things that he did yesterday. There's once again that early presence towards the east side, but the guard all very close to each other. And nobody to be seen. This is when Oxygen, they have to be the most careful. Also a team that has been in the situation before.
Next getting a little crazy. Fortunately for Oxygen, they only give him the drone.
So, is it a blessing or a curse?
For some reason, I don't know, I cut out or something. I looked fine on my end, but I think I broke the curse.
Yeah?
Yeah, I returned to the Church of Verno.
So you think if you bring it up, then it's a blessing, but if I bring it up, it's a curse.
Bring what up? Go ahead and say it, and we'll see how Verno does for the rest of the game.
No.
For now, he's got all the tools for success, and Net is so far away from the lockdown. That Hunter's Fury, it can be used, hopefully sooner rather than later, a little more haphazardly, because you don't have to worry about countering that ult.
This is a little more comfortable though, but randyySAVAGE gonna take that early contact all. Yeah, already knows a couple of the players going from garage. This is the same thing that they've done before. The Hunter's Fury trying to answer. No way, it's a blessing. Verno gets 2.
That's exactly what they needed. Running right into the welcome arms of Mitch. Papa Bear welcomes them with the double kill. A Sheets flawless to tie us up from Oxygen, and Verno keeps on climbing up the ladder.
All right, I mean, what an answer. What a play for Oxygen to stay alive on this map. This is what we talked about though. One of the best, if not the best map that Oxygen has. So you're expecting it to be close even when they're going against the guard. Timeout though.
And who would have thought? Sure, I think maybe I can speak for everybody. I don't know if it was just through the interviews or just the way that the guard have played. My thought process behind not having played maps meant that the guard would still be good on them, would still be strong, would still be very dominant on the maps they hadn't shown. They just haven't been forced to show them. But we are seeing a bit of weakness here, where Tex is struggling to find the right play for himself, right? Struggling to find the right spot that he needs to be as this duelist.
I mean, both of them, really.
in a bit of a lull.
Yeah, but both of the duelists kind of struggling. It's not really their fault. It's not that they're not hitting the shots, but because of the same mirror match that we're looking at on both sides, they know exactly what utility has to be invested to push these two duelists back. And so that's why Verno's able to step it up a little bit more. But absolutely having an insane game so far, but let's see who gets to 12 first.
The guard want to make this one quick, and they kind of do so out to a vacancy site. I think they're realizing, though, that the defense of Oxygen are running them down out towards A, and Net, the catch-all. Does anything slip through the wires? Yes, Pwny will. Net gets absolutely nothing. Now JonahP gonna try and pick that one up as the catch-all still in the spawn.
And because of that, they need to hunt for these kills to make things even.
One down.
Oh, but not expecting randyySAVAGE to be holding this. Tex goes down, 5v3. JonahP, though, trying to answer. Does it? Gets 2.
And Pwny gets stunned. valyn just in the perfect spot to make this play work. JonahP gonna try his hand at one more fight. randyySAVAGE finds a kill on to Trent, and if there's anybody to clutch it out, that would have been your player. Now valyn here stuck on the site. Smoke goes out, but it doesn't pop in time.
Again.
As the Omens have to do it once more. 1v1. The spike is planted. A tap from Scuba, and he doesn't have the right angle. valyn does, and the guard take the round.
What a play once again. It is valyn on that duel, Omen v Omen, to close it out, to get to 12. It is match point for the guard. And I can't believe it turned out that way. It started so well for Oxygen. I mean, Tex goes down. It's a 5v3. Sure, the spike gets planted, but the numbers had to be enough. They were also just not expecting the positioning for JonahP, which makes all the difference now.
Pwny postured up. Just on the wrong side of the map for now. Operator not finding value just yet, but the defensive lean is this way. The guard hit the C site. Can be met by 3 players of Oxygen Esports.
Oxygen having to be more careful than ever if they want to push this to overtime. They want to stay alive on this matchup, on this winner bracket. pwny position, the only one towards the A side. The guard as well, giving that respect, being extremely careful too, trying to get some information from the shadows. It is the same beginning for the guard. They like playing these rounds slow. They're comfortable with the patient. They're comfortable with the time slowly running out. Once the execute comes through, that's all that matters.
Smoke. We'll get pwny off the angle for
30
now.
seconds left.
Got himself a shorty. Couple of players just on the other side. He doesn't quite deal with the first, but he still gets his one. Trent won't be available here. Look to hold on to this site. Tex can go to the back lines. He's back to back with the wrong team. It's Verno to do it again. 2 kills. The way of the Sova. And that spike needs to get planted. It's valyn to deal with him. It's valyn to plant. But 3 players still alive. And Aftershock to get some damage. Net is going to have everything to do. And the spike, it goes down early. It does not get planted. And Oxygen, they've done just enough. They push us to OT.
Oh, there's no way. What a shut down from Oxygen. What a play. Playing all the way on top, making sure the spike doesn't get planted. It seems like, and valyn also believed he had just enough time, even if he took the damage, but no, got taken down. And Oxygen, they push us to that overtime. This is a team also that feels really comfortable in the overtimes, have experienced it way too many times. But it's all thanks right now to the heroics of Verno, one of the players that we've talked about. Just non-stop 27 kills for the Sova.
Well, she said the thing, guard fans. She said the thing. she said the thing. No, I mean, Verno wants 30. Verno's taking us overtime to get 30. Oh, man. Tex doesn't land the first shot. The difference in Jet players between series to series, right? Anytime Tex does anything, he's supported some way, somehow. He misses that shot. JonahP pats him on the back, says, "Don't worry, buddy, I got you."
And it just looks so easy as well for JonahP. We hear 2 bullets, and that's it. Pwny down. No more chances for the Jet of Oxygen into this round. And obviously, not ideal for this attacking team. Would like to have this Jet, at least for the entry, to make things easier. Oh, valyn though, waiting all the way on top. This time around, it's not going to get the duel. Scuba gets the best of him.
Yeah, this is the raid boss as well. valyn for the guard. He's been doing a lot for this team. In this round, won't do much. Flash goes out. Recon Bolt reveals a few players, but that spam not quite good enough. So full retake is where we land as Net plays the long con, but he's going to be met by an alarm bot. And how about Verno? Verno's not a part of this play. Here on this A site, there's only 3 attackers in the close vicinity, so we'll have ourselves a 4v3, but the clock continues to tick in the guard. They have to pull the trigger. They have to start making a play here. Scuba on 10 HP. Somebody has to move. Something's got to give. Somebody's got to do something. Mitch and randyySAVAGE, toe-to-toe, hand-in-hand as Net gets one. It doesn't seem like it matters. A shorty up close and personal. Mitch making this one personal as he tosses out the Rolling Thunder to JonahP, and our heartthrob, unfortunately, shot through the heart in this round. And Oxygen are next up. Oxygen are 1 away from pushing us to map 3.
I cannot believe it. What a performance from Oxygen, even after losing their Jet. Pwny getting taken down first, it does not matter. Scuba there to take down the one player looking at them from heaven. valyn goes down, and from that, Oxygen look forward to closing out the map right now. Pushes to a map number 3. They're so close to doing so. But now it's back to the guard on the attacking side. Nobody to meet up close.
Under the garage, alarm bot will reveal. For now, the clock just continues to tick as the guard are anticipating some sort of aggression. Oxygen give him nothing.
The time once again slowly running out for the guard. This is what they've been doing before, but Now expecting pwny to be in this position. Everybody looking at him, and it doesn't matter. Text goes down.
Wow.
pwny gets his one, and he's gonna back up.
That is awful. A fault line also. If you wanted to try and run pwny down, you couldn't. You could not because of Mitch's fault line. Meanwhile, net. The catch-all for the squad equalizes. randyySAVAGE
Turret down. Swarm grenade
has a
out.
chance. Swing things back in favor. Scuba rotates his way back over to the site as well. The C site heavily defended now with all 4 people on this side of the map for Oxygen Esports. randyySAVAGE holds the smoke, push out from long, and randyySAVAGE is going to look to deal with it as Scuba finds one of his own. 10 seconds left on the clock. A tap onto the spike in a 1v2. 7 seconds left, and Verno's done it! The eBay clutch and Oxygen take us to map 3!
Never give up.
Verno to close it out as well. I cannot believe the performance we just saw from the Sova from beginning to end was helping out so much this Oxygen squad, and for the first time this year we get to see guard being pushed to a map number 3.
It's Oxygen Esports to do it. The upsetters, that's just what they do. And again, map 1, it goes however it goes. Map 2, Verno was making sure, highlighted at the beginning of the series alongside pwny, and if pwny wasn't going to be by his side, Verno was going to pick up the slack and do it all himself. I think 2 kills at the end there, 2 kills in the round previous. I'm pretty sure he dropped
So
30
good.
on the map as a whole. A star-studded support player, and again, he's doing it all from that support role. What a game, what a series. The first time that the guard have been pushed the distance, but not the first time that we've seen both of these teams on Lotus, which is to come after our highlights and our desk.
One enemy remaining. Player standing. Ground. Yikes. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Defeated.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Clutch.
Well, we got a little bit of everything in that game. We got a knife kill, we got some tactical crouching, we got the sit in a smoke with a shorty, and now we're gonna have a game 3 on our hands as Oxygen Esports, in a dire situation, managed to be clutching out the game block to take us over to Lotus.
This is what we were talking about coming into the second map. It was the possible third map scenario for them. They're having to play a map they feel comfortable on. It's not that bad of a situation to be in. They took a risk with Pearl. They took a risk even more so by changing up the agent comp and bringing in something that's maybe a little bit non-standard, we'll say. I've seen it work really well, but it didn't work for them there. So then they end up bringing things to a very close end, 14-12 on Haven. It was a 6-6 half, ends 12-12 in regulation. It's not really a surprise there. There were a lot of situations that probably could have gone different directions. You look back at just like individual scenarios where I forget what round it was, but I think you have Text dash on site and he doesn't full clear behind boxes on a site, and that allows a clutch to take place from that position. Multiple kills end up happening. There were a lot of rounds like that, like just small scenarios that if they changed even just a little bit, the game goes the other direction. And Verno, my God, Verno had an incredible series, 29-11, but just the audacity to get many multi-kills when necessary. He had that one double kill off the ult getting towards the tail end of the game. Dude was having a monster performance.
Yeah, Verno definitely popped off. Got 3K after 3K. Mowed him down once they swapped over on the defense side. Second round with a 4K. Verno did his job, but the guard also kept them on their toes the entire time. I thought they were going to close it out because they were looking super confident. The round that you were talking about where Tex didn't clear the backside was actually in the last round. That round was going to close it out, so that is so important that it went into overtime and they ended up losing, because if he would have cleared backside, maybe it would have been a map win for them.
I mean, you see the spike getting down to, like, what, half a second from being planted, and then the breach charge ends up killing the planter with 2 seconds left in the round. The round ends up going the other direction. Verno had that huge ult to take the lead at 11-10. They had a flawless round. I mean, there's a lot of clutches coming in for both teams. There really wasn't a clear indicator of who was going to win that map until basically the last second. So incredible series from both teams. We weren't sure if we were going to get a 3-mapper before we saw the maps. I thought it was maybe possible once we saw Haven in the pool, but now we do get to go to a 3rd map, so this should be exciting.
Yeah, I want to make note also that I feel like Oxygen Esports kept the guard's economy super tight almost the entire game. If you notice, the guard did win a thrifty round, but rounds that Oxygen Esports didn't win, they still eliminated all of the guards, so that's keeping their money super tight for the whole game.
Well, in a series where the map seemed kind of a little flip-flopped as each team picked a map that they didn't end up winning, it was not necessarily to their pool, we're gonna have that great decider over on Lotus, one that we have seen from both of these teams. A moment to reflect too on those little things that maybe would have made Haven go the other way, but it's time to put it behind you, Buck. Lotus, this is the decider, and both teams have been looking great.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we saw Guard play this in their opener in mid-season faceoffs. Same with Oxygen. Oxygen beating G2. The Guard struggling a little bit against FaZe. It ended up closing out 13-11. They did have a better performance against Mad Lions during the group stages. From Oxygen, you know, they had a close loss really to kick off the group stages against Turtle Troop. So there's things to look at here from this team. They've got the possibility of taking the series, but just like we said coming into map 2 and even in map 1, Oxygen will always be the underdog in this scenario just because of the tenure that this team has had at this level of play.
Yeah.
The Guard has been here before. They've been in these situations many times. They've been to map 3s. They feel very comfortable. Yeah. The question is whether or not they feel comfortable on Lotus, because what we saw from Oxygen the other day, they looked pretty good. I mean, we talked about it at the top of this match. The pwny factor. The pwny was popping off on that map. Can they continue to contain him as this star duelist for Oxygen?
Yeah, and I think it's important to note too that while we're talking about Oxygen Esports being the underdogs are never out and out, you know. No. It just makes the series exciting when you're looking at the team that theoretically, when you're looking at the numbers or something else, you don't think that they would be having that chance. But Oxygen Esports, they're a team that has shown us a lot of times that they're able to take these situations, turn it around, and it's something even before Emily that in that little bit of context that the Guard talked about, yeah, like there can be a team that's off meta, they can be a team that can hit the shots, they can be a team that needs to be respected.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of teams are very cautious when they're playing against the Guard, specifically because they're one of the teams, like you mentioned, that have the most experience together as a whole. So they can be scary once they got their ball rolling and flowing. But like I had said before, Oxygen Esports has a very, very strong defense. And so I think we have to be careful once we're going into the Lotus of how they're going to be playing. What is their pace going to be like? We're all going to find out soon.
Let's not forget that there was a time before anyone knew who the Guard was. The first time that Guard played in VCT last year, a lot of people were like, who are these players? I've never heard of some of these names. There's one name that they knew, and it was from the old T1 roster. You kind of have a similar situation here, not quite as bad as you do have a player coming in with a bit more experience backing up Mitch in that, like, pwny played with T1 and T1 Academy. But really, like, you look at the roster, you've got Scuba coming in with some experience with the Knights. So yeah, there's more names behind Mitch, but ultimately most people who watch Valorant, even at a casual level, will recognize Mitch, and they might not recognize everyone else. So there's maybe some comparisons to draw to that Guard team. The only difference is it's just two different styles of play. Like they even said it in the content piece. This is like a mini phase, the way they play the game. A lot of their set pieces rely on their entry duelists. They rely on pwny, which is very similar to the way that phase plays. Now, I don't think it's quite as aggressive, but we did see towards the tail end some plays that maybe other players wouldn't make. That smoke play with a shorty, it was like questionable at that point in the game to take a risk like that. Like, it was definitely sketchy. But that's what some players will do when they're put in that situation. That is definitely where you can see that comparison to a player like Baby Bay. It's like high risk, high reward. Whereas the other side, guard, has always been very careful. It's always been about a team-centric approach. That goes back to when their coach was MCE, who is now the coach of Cloud9. He was always big on the team working together as a cohesive unit. So I think ultimately, you know, you have teams at a similar level where Oxygen's coming in based on where guard came in at one point during VCT. I love the clash we're seeing between the two of them. I do wonder if Oxygen can keep it up and do what they did to G2 on Lotus the other day.
Yeah, if they get this win versus the guard, it's going to be huge for Oxygen Esports. Like we were saying, they're here to prove themselves, that they're a force to be reckoned with. I didn't really see pwny pop off as much as we saw pwny do versus G2 the other day. I believe it was yesterday when he was playing. So we'll see if he's got what it takes on Lotus.
Well, the guard called Oxygen the mini phase, but I kind of feel like they're a mini guard going into this. The underdogs. Time to see if they can upset and take map 3 on Lotus as Agent Select is ready, and so are our casters.
Triad upsets are on the horizon. I can see it as the sun comes up or as the sun sets, depending on, I guess for us, it's actually setting for most places. Anyways, upsets are on the horizon. If Oxygen can do it here, Triad, Oxygen are winning champions. Hey, if Oxygen can do it here, Oxygen are winning
They need like
champions.
several steps to get there. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Oxygen beating the guard as we set our eyes now on Lotus. It's the first time that the guard have ever seen a map 3 here in Challengers, but it's a familiar map for both teams.
It is a familiar map, and a familiar map to us as well, as we got to see the guard going against FaZe on Lotus yesterday, and it was very close. And that's very interesting to me because of what the desk was saying, but also what the players were saying about Oxygen. So the guard players were saying about Oxygen that they are kind of like a FaZe. They just need to figure out a way to shut them down early, and that has proven to be true in a lot of scenarios, in a lot of rounds. But yesterday, that match for the guard, it ended up going 13-11 on Lotus, so they better find a way to shut down Oxygen early on, or we're 100% going to be seeing that upset.
And guess who popped off on map 3 Lotus yesterday? It was pwny. Well, also Verno, but that's just kind of the staple for Verno at this point. But it was pwny who had a slow map 2, a very strong map 3, and that map 3 was Lotus. So we'll see if we can put up those same numbers. Recon Bolt out early, but lots of utility to keep players safe. If they were hiding, would not have been found until finally now they'll deal with this. Baby door goes down, Boombot goes through, and B seems to be under fire for now.
Yeah, like you said, this race for pwny yesterday was so good, and he's looking to play aggressive again. Get slowed down for a second, get stunned, but it doesn't matter though. Oxygen go for the B control. JonahP on the other side of the smoke.
pwny in a bad spot. Right clicks that paint shells, and it does force the players back. Meanwhile, while all that was happening, Scuba gets caught. Verno to try and duel his way back into this one. Net will find another, and it's all up to Verno, and he drops 30 in map number 2. I don't think the stretch gets started right here. Only good for 1 on the round as the guard will take the pistol.
No, you don't deserve my invention.
The jump, but the classic is going to make the difference as the guard, they take this map. And we talked about Oxygen, we talked about how good they were yesterday on this map, but also, I mean, on the other side for the guard, one of the things that we heard in the post-match interview, it was valyn saying after they got taken down by TSM in one of those matches, they started taking things seriously. And it has to be a similar feeling to what is going on right now. The first time that they got to map 3, okay, let's get serious. This Oxygen squad, it's something that we need to take care of as soon as possible. Have as a dominant of a performance as we can on this map number 3 to close it out. And at least we do it for the first pistol round.
Yeah, and Oxygen here in this next one. Just looking to overwhelm. Vulnerable. More snake bites go out. More rounds get fired. A couple of right clicks. So, and Mitch got the first frag for himself and his team. Valyn gonna try and help his teammate out. And a lot of util expended The spike is on the site, but it seems like they want to leave this one behind. They've all made it out, Dryad.
A little bit of damage taken, but everybody running away, though the Killjoy's alive, so the utility gets to get activated. Doesn't affect this plan too much, though. There's a chance.
Really like that play. I don't like Verno getting caught like that. That stings quite a bit. But instead of forcing that plant onto the C site, they take their leave. Because of that, they're awarded the plant on the opposite players up top. Oh, Scuba. Scuba was just trying to play tucked away. He'll eventually be taken down, so only losing one once more are the guard. They secure a second, but Oxygen, good on the plant.
Good in the plant, and they had a doable situation, but the crossfire that they wanted to play on top, it's not the most comfortable one to do as well. You can isolate those on this retake, as JonahP was able to do just fine, and especially because the utility available at the time. So the guard 2 rounds now in a row on the defensive side against Oxygen, map number 3. This is where we get to see, and where you're hoping to see Oxygen Esports in the same way that they did yesterday with pwny, with the satchels, with the quick entries. Was this one of those, but nothing to be seen just yet. And be very careful about it.
And this was a pretty familiar default that we saw coming out
Placing swarm grenade.
from Oxygen,
Swarm grenade out.
where they quickly take the space out towards A, but we were also seeing on the inverse teams take that space right back, and Net thought he was being cheeky. randyySAVAGE sprays him down through the box, and no more Killjoy for the guard. Oh!
They push forward because of it. And pwny's ready for it on the other side. Good for 3. And I mentioned it, you really want to see pwny stepping it up for this round. He does just that, leaving Trent alone on the side of the guard.
And after, 3 rounds now, pwny, Mitch, Verno, kind of, very close to their ultimates. Mitch, getting that plant there means only one ult orb away from having that Rolling Thunder online and quite possibly securing one of the most difficult rounds we're going to see early in this one, as the guard are just around the corner from their full buy. There goes Trent. A flawless round for Oxygen to get on the board. And, sure, that was a flawless round, but that was a very dominant flawless round, right? Flawless speaks for itself, but pwny stampeded through that defense.
Yeah, I know that was because of that first kill that we saw between the 2 Killjoys. Wanted to give that green light for the guard to make things even. It just ended up going the complete opposite way. As Mitch capitalizes from it just fine and helps out the rest of the team. Rolling Thunder available for the side of Oxygen. Pushing forward. Oh, Tech's not gonna find anything. Yeah, good call. Back up.
Yeah, but what is the call? Do you keep backing up? I thought maybe for a second Net was going to try and help him fight on the site, but too much util dumped out towards the C site. They have given it up completely, and this time it does seem Oxygen Esports want to get the plant here. They'll give it over to Mitch, who's already got the ultimate available. We'll double up on an extra ult pit. pwny taking down 3 players on the lurk. Flash does not pop, so Verno able to stand and fight his teammate in randyySAVAGE. Another flash just behind it, though, and it's randyySAVAGE take the first. Verno takes the next, and unfortunately, Trent not any better than his 2 teammates who fell just before him. It's Tex and Net work the retake. This one just looking unwinnable. Oxygen Esports want to tie us up.
Oh, and something feels different. Something feels like has changed for Oxygen. With the way that they're playing, you can tell they're playing their own game. You can tell how comfortable they feel. Also, completely expecting multiple plays for the guard to be pushing from that flank, and each one of them shot down as Oxygen tied things up 2-2.
And as the underdog team, as any team, you have to believe that you can win. But you have to believe that you can win, right? It's one thing to say it. It's one thing to actually feel it. And I think that win on Haven has given Oxygen a true belief in their potential to upset a team that everybody looks as the team that is winning Ascension, which is down the road. We're not even there yet. A huge win in map 2. It did exactly what I think you said, Dryad. It has breathed life and actual belief in their own capabilities here. As Net was about to be good for 2. Verno, make sure it's only 1.
Still don't expect it. The way that they were holding that position, they were expecting that push from the guard, and it's one of those that we've seen a couple times in that last map.
Deploying drone.
When it was working out, it was so methodical. For this one, though, Oxygen has to be expecting it more. The guard, again, because they don't have a lot of maps that they play. And they haven't been forced to the map number 3 before. They get a little bit more on information on what the other side is going to be doing. Because once again, it seems it's going to be the C hit. And valyn, once again, having to back up.
And every round, right? This is... rounds like this are what matter the most on Pearl. They're also what matter the most on Haven. Not giving up rounds like this for free. Not just walking in willy-nilly because you know that they've got pistols or they only have one rifle. That one rifle is right here for Tex. And it's been dispatched of. Verno can make sure that pwny will find another. Make it 2. valyn pushes his way through. Double kill for the guard, but everybody dead on their side means Oxygen Esports find a lead early here on Lotus.
Difficult as well for the guard. I mean, Tex has attempted to go for that aggressive push that we see the Jets do every single time, but because of the utility, the flashes, everything else, he gets spotted and has to back up at the same. You don't want to give Oxygen numbers so early on, because at that point, a C hit is 100% guaranteed. So it's a tough one for the guard to deal with, but at least into this early one, they don't have to worry about C too much. This pwny wants to go A first. It's gonna do the same thing. Burning Thunder for Mitch has been holding on to it because of the other guard backing up.
I mean, it's just been a really good back and forth from Oxygen Esports, keeping this defense guessing. The guard don't know if they need to rotate out towards C just yet. Try and bolster this B site. It does seem that the spike is headed this way. Usually Baby Door going down confirms that hit. Lockdown will deny.
That was easy. Okay.
All right. Okay, we've got the lineups here, says pwny, and now the B site seemingly completely free. All 5 on the top side of the map.
Okay, well that's an easy way to take care of that lockdown. So no space could be given for the guard. The showstopper though also doesn't connect.
Oh. A beautiful paranoia hunter. Sure here to follow it up. Unfortunately, randyySAVAGE caught in the crossfire, but I think he's happy to pay that 2-for-1 tax as Verno collects 2 for himself. pwny locking it down for the rest. Now Net and Trent, not long for this world. The spike planted in a pretty awful spot. I think they've realized that with 400 credits to their name collectively, they'll back away and concede another round.
And on one side, after that, you can imagine Verno apologizing to his teammates, but Randy, hey, don't worry about it. It's all good. We win the round, that's all you need. Small sacrifice to pay for that round number 4 on the side of Oxygen. Really well played again, and I don't think the guard were expecting that paint shells line up at all. It just seemed way too quick, way too easy. pwny completely expecting it. Time up.
Timeout called. And sometimes there's just no way to deal with it. Right? We see it a lot with M80 and Qualanoob. When everything just seems to be going right for that player, he is making it work. And now we're seeing it. We saw it for Verno on Haven. Now they work their way out to Lotus. We're seeing it for both pwny and Verno. I mean, even at the start of that round, right? They do the normal, take space out towards A. The guard wanting to give up the site, not play too much contention. Tex is walking off. He gets headshot through the wall. He's down to 20 HP. What can Tex even do, right? The most awful way to start the round. Things just going right. for Oxygen Esports.
Thanks.
If you're a fan of the underdogs, you're hoping it continues this way. And honestly, it feels like it's going to. Does the guard take that timeout? And Oxygen once again going for this early A presence. Working out the same way every single one of them, though. Tony has been able to find that early success. Looking forward to do the same thing. And this time around, there's only a killjoy on A. An attempt of a flank. It has to be expected for Oxygen.
And the guard are taking time out of their round to work their way through this B side, out through mid, trying to crunch Oxygen Esports here on the A side. They don't have the best weapons to do it, but Trent and valyn might be able to put up a fight for the team. Net, however, there's no fight left.
And players behind. Scuba waiting for them, waiting for Tex.
Cover going out.
Just one more is gonna be Trent on the other side. Doesn't get spotted right away, but
Rat!
I'm playing around it.
Complete.
Playing inside of the dark cover as well, and yes, Scuba gets that second one. Just being so aware
Enemy remaining.
of the plans that the guard had on this map.
Kill confirmed.
I was just about to commend them for playing in positions to where they can't lose anything on the way out. They don't die to Trent's rifle. They just about walk out of that round unscathed, but valyn took one with him. But a 5th round picked up for Oxygen Academy. And I don't know how many people had this one in their bingo card. We go this deep. Pwny and Verno still doing it.
Or ultimates now available for this side of the guard. But a defense that hasn't been able to find an answer. It is the same kind of strategy that the guard has. Different versions of this defense, different strategies, but I think it is the first time where they really struggle for it. Caught unexpected in so many scenarios. Hoping to change things around, and Tex is gonna do just that, at least for the first kill. Verno no longer here.
Reckoning, gonna slow things down for just a second. He saw Oxygen Esports want to push aggressively, but they'll think twice as Pwny plays that close jump up, and that angle has usually been good for the attacking side. Not this time around. Oxygen worked their way back out towards C, using that revolving door through mound. The lockdown will buy a bit of space, buy a bit of time. You get to get that spike planted. 4 still alive for the guard here in the retake.
.3v4. valyn low in HP and completely isolated on the other side, but it seems like the timing is right. Rolling Thunder to push forward. Mitch, no way he's gonna do it. Good for 2. And just like that, things are even.
Player standing.
And valyn backed away from it for just a second. Now Scuba left. In a 1v2.
They have
Clock
to
continues
know.
to tick. They have to know. They'll try and clear the angle. valyn can't do it. How about Net? And yes, he does. It comes down to the 1v1. And the guard are finally back in it. Another round picked up.
Very expensive round in a 1v1, but doesn't matter if Net gonna take care of it. Gonna save that operator for his teammate. He's gonna guarantee the 3rd one. And a push towards that C side that we've gotten the chance to see a couple times, and I like that commitment from Mitch. He had been holding on to this Rolling Thunder for the longest time, but for the last kill, had 4 bullets. Couldn't do anything else, and it was already a tricky situation for his Omen to be in. Very, very expensive round for both teams. The reinvestment here, a little bit of a reset. X wanting to do the same thing again. The turret's gonna spot him. You 100% know is that Jet.
Satchel out.
It doesn't give up that there's an operator, though.
You gotta know. I mean, he did it last round. Has done it before other matches. There's no utility though. There's no killjoy utility over here. There's nothing else. So yeah, Tex has to give up that space.
They do eventually find the op here. They're about to find all 5 defenders from the guard. Another plant, and very close to another Rolling Thunder.
Which is insane, by the way. We are that close, but a 4v4. Valyn goes down. Another retake towards C. We've seen this one before, but it changes around. The Viper's Pit wants to make the difference for the guard.
And, oh, okay, Tex was trying to play shotgun games. Pit will be dealt with. Scuba makes sure of that, and the guard have to worry about the spike. Oxygen don't have to worry about anything. Tap on it. They're a player ahead. Pwny does go down.
Wait.
Even. Aftershock comes through. How much time is there left on the clock? Does Net have enough? I don't think so. It's gonna be close, but no. So close, but yet so far. They've done just enough. And hey, awarded the clutch here. It's Oxygen Esports.
eBay clutch for Oxygen right at the very end between the two. He got scared for a second, but yeah, time running out for Net. Doesn't allow that spike to get diffused, and the Viper Spit, a good idea. But I don't think it was the one that the guard had in mind early into the round, though. That Viper Spit that we've seen from this team and other teams on the A side, just trying to hold it down for a couple of rounds early on. Use that as a tool to retake that. Gets no value, gets no result for that round number 9. So that means Oxygen in a pretty safe position on this half. And a change in confidence. I mean, look at the buy for the guard. Not too much. You have to be expecting Oxygen to get at least one more here. One gets spotted.
And how many more times can you do this if you're the guard? Right? How many more times can you afford to just keep giving up this C site and hoping that the retake will work? Because it hasn't even been 50% of the time. Now this round, kind of a wash. Net trying to make me eat my words, but Mitch will catch him on the way out. Mitch, coming himself, pretty star-studded game, and that Rolling Thunder that we talked about a round ago is now available for that breach of Oxygen Esports.
Yep. One of the things that I find interesting as well as we get to see this round play out is the aggression of Oxygen every single time, the way they've been playing it on the turret. So trying to put up a fight.
One enemy remaining.
There's no chance.
Just no chance. And when you look at the minimap, when all of this is developing, you think, what is Verno doing? But he's done it a couple of times. If not Verno, we saw it from Mitch around earlier, where they play the long con and they eventually sneak a player through Waterfall.
It's been
works.
working out. Yeah, they've been doing constantly. And one of the things, one of the questions that you were asking, right, which I think you're totally right, is how many times is the guard gonna allow this hit on A to happen because they only have one player? They haven't done that killjoy setup that we often see from teams towards C. They're putting one player that often has to back up. And that's the one thing that they said they don't want to let happen. They said, Oxygen, they're like FaZe, we need to shut them down early. But we haven't really seen that shutdown early towards C. We might not see it for this round either. The showstopper doesn't connect this time around for pwny. There is Rolling Thunder to follow up.
Yeah, we trade the ultimates and no real threat though. But look, this has been the play. If the C hit doesn't work, we cut it and we go B. But the guard are ready for it this time. What's happening? Back and forth. A teeter-totter. They're back to the C site.
Yeah, you gotta give that space thanks to the lockdown from Net. Gives them that and tries to funnel all the players in the same area. 3v4 though. This is the chance for the guard.
Wow. I mean, valyn has just been spraying. He hasn't even been touched. valyn goes untouched that entire time. Scuba trying to match those same efforts, but he's blind. He's backstabbed. Net will close out the round. The guard with a great read. They stunt the Oxygen Esports attack. And they fight for a 5-7 half.
Good answer there as well. Took that lockdown. As you said, the players, once the C hit doesn't work, it ends up with a little bit more presence towards B. But the lockdown shut down that plan, and for that round at least, Oxygen, they have to play guards game. For this defense, at least, it works out perfectly, but they want more. They want one more round in this defense before changing things around, and Oxygen is trying to do here.
I like this, the fancy L strategy from valyn, where every time this wall's been thrown as a default, they just blast pack past it. They just shrouded step past it, no problems. But this time, they make it seem a bit more contested to get through this wall instead of giving full vision. So I like that change.
Yeah.
We'll see if it really matters. The A side's pretty vacant.
Yeah, but at that point, everybody crosses at the same time. Tries to secure this side, and randyySAVAGE goes down thanks to net. But I have to give that respect. 5v4. And a post plan here to deal with.
When randyySAVAGE dead, this turret means absolutely nothing inside A main, right? This push from Tex could be everything that the guard need. A player ahead, and one of them being unsuspected. About to turn the tides. Yep, there it is. Backstab onto Verno. He's already gone. Pwny can try and battle back for a couple. Here's a drop down from net. Not so silent this time around, but it is valyn to take him down. Scuba will play inside his smoke. They seem like they know, but they weren't sure until they confirm it. They push through. They drop the body. And Mitch now the last one standing. Too many targets to worry about, and one of which is just sticking that defuse. So the guard have done it. They battle back for 2 in a row. 7-5 is where we swap sides.
Switching sides.
A similar score to the one that we saw on map number 1. But a good 2 rounds though.
One enemy remaining.
And if you're on the side of the guard, you want to see this team snowball with on the second half, though it can be a different story
Remaining.
with so many good plays throughout. And honestly, the upper hand that over and over again Oxygen were having in every single way, the way they were shutting down the ultimates for the guard, the way they were executing into C. And at least the guard, they don't have to deal with that anymore. They go onto the attacking side, and this is where you want to set up Tex for success.
Success has eluded him thus far. A lot of the time just being avoided on that C site or being completely overrun by utility. Now he gets to be the tip of that spear.
Only one of the players for the guard. Towards that A side, that one is gonna be Trent. It's be a nuisance the longer this round goes on. Should get spotted. Creates a hesitation for Oxygen all across, and Verno's gonna get the first one.
And hesitation no more. 3 players push out towards B into that spawn and get your player rotating back. Look at this though. The noise being made out towards C. Yeah, that's not where Tex is headed.
Yeah, not at all. And this is all the call that we saw early on for Trent. Was slowly pushing A. But you can tell the moment Oxygen realized if given up this A space, the spike is gonna get planted. And on the other side,
Oh, okay. Starting to make it hurt here in the pistol.
One enemy remaining.
Trent grabs 2 of his own. The backstab's there. I mean, this play was just all over the map for the guard, and it worked perfectly.
right to left, but always keeping one of the players trying to stay on the other side. I mean, we saw it with Trent. And then we got to see it a little bit more thanks to JonahP for the last kill. So an advantage here now on the pistol, at least for the guard. We might be seeing things go even for the... Honestly, feels like a million times this match. No aggression though. And one kill, pwny going down. As Net took a little bit of damage, but back to 100 speed thanks to JonahP. And it's a quick call from the IGL of valyn to go all the way to the A side. It has worked out before. A little bit more time to get into those positions. And yeah, there it is. Every single one of the Oxygen members that's gonna get taken down. Verno, the last one, spotted as well. A flawless run following it.
Sheets flawless there. I thought, oh, this snake bite really making that one a little less desirable to want to jump through. And then Mitch just goes flying through the high tide. Vulnerable. Taken down. Unfortunate. But this is where things get started for Oxygen Esports.
Randy with an Odin here. And we playing around tree. One of the plays that we've seen before, not necessarily from the Killjoy players, but a couple times it ends up being that way. The guard. It's so similar to what they were doing before, when they were doing the last couple maps. Just played so far back, so close together, expecting that aggression, and feeling comfortable with this time that they have.
And I think it was Mitch who actually was having a rough game and thought, oh, I'll just buy the Odin and
yeah, I
spray
remember
100
that.
bullets. This time it is Randy, and I mean, you see why, right? This wall right here, even the door itself, spammable by a high penetration weapon, and that's exactly what the Odin's gonna be. And while that spam is happening, it's just suppressing fire for Verno to break down that baby door and find the kill.
And that little bit of damage as well is all you need to make that call. And the guard in so many of these rounds they have to adapt on the fly, as they did just now. Knows that one of the players is gonna be towards the seaside. That one's gonna be scuba, has to back up. Still looking for a couple though.
30
As the spike gets planted.
Yeah, that smoke creating a lot of uneasiness. Expect maybe somebody on the inside. Is this Reckoning? I mean, working kind of like a lockdown. You can't run through it, or else you're just gonna eat the entirety of it as it works its way through the site. Mitch will collect 1 kill. Oxygen Esports so far. Cove goes out and allow for the cross. We'll see what valyn can find on the back end as he's got himself a Spectre. Verno low. Spray comes through. randyySAVAGE trying to find something. Verno dealt with. Odin finally gets 1, but 1 was not enough. JonahP still healthy, but unneeded as Net closes out the round to 3K. The guard find a lead.
In the middle of chaos, in the middle of everything, getting just a little scary for the guard is Net with a 3K. To let them know everything is fine, and it is one of those players as well having a really good performance. And I'd love to see the killjoys on this map because of it. Feels like they have just a perfect understanding on how they're going to be playing it out, and Net has been able to do that now for a couple of rounds. And this is the situation that Oxygen wanted to avoid. Sure, they had the lead, but so they did way before, and they lost it. When you're going against the guard, when you already pushed them to map number 3, you don't want to give them anything else.
Very similar quiet game from Tex, but loud in their accomplishments are valyn and Net. 15 and 10, 15 and 6 respectively. Rest of the team happy to support any way that they can. Oxygen Esports come out of that timeout into a rough buy. Sheriffs in light armor for most. Pwny still sitting on that classic. Aggression up towards Mound.
Just a little bit though, and although this is the attempt of aggression, or the attempt of the stack towards C to try to catch somebody, the guard know it. They're gonna not even play around it. Just gonna play for that round, and that's gonna be getting that spike planted on C. Oxygen, they've won those thrifties. We've seen them before. This might be too much to deal with. 5v5, all sheriffs.
The last retake, well, the retake that we look at on Haven, in a situation like this, relatively deep in the game, and at least had Verno with the rifle. I think that snakebite bounced off a Pwny. He backed away and fortunately gets a headshot by Trent. So Oxygen Esports quite literally given nothing here on this. They're just gonna go down to the spike, hoping for some exits. I guess. Okay, JonahP is gonna flirt with this one. one more kill or one death away from having those Seekers, and he says, hey, this might just be worth it. Tex will also follow suit. Into the back line, net will go. The spike deals with 2 in the guard. They grow their lead to 2 as well.
Oxygen, in the meantime, they take what they can. But that is only going to be a couple kills for that round. As the guard, when we got the chance to see them yesterday, with this composition, which is, by the way, the second time, or now third time, that we see it with the server, it is very unique, but it allows them to take a little more control. We've seen it trying to deny that retake, as we did a couple rounds ago, but it also creates the space that is so annoying to deal with. If you're on the side of Oxygen, if you are, for example, pwny, with the operator trying to position a little bit better. Speaking of pwny, he's gonna be the only player on this A site so far back though. No, though it's not the most common thing to see pwny with an operator here on that race. It's still something that you have to be expecting now for the guard. Big investment here on the defense. And hoping it's gonna pay off. Mitch waiting for the Q, waiting for the sang, that's gonna be it.
Great fault line as well. Good timing on that one-way smoke. Allows Scuba to fight a little bit. Doesn't get exactly what they were hoping for as they back away to play this C site. Seekers dealt with, so is Trent. The snake bite at the feet, though, is JonahP. Battles back for one more, make it 2, but Scuba matches. And he tries to back away as he's got some help here on the site. Verno
Spots one.
Sweeps on through, and yeah, they've got some extra information. Unfortunately, the one here on the site is the one with the spike, and there's not a lot of hope here for valyn. Sneak his way out. No way. Splinter cell through some. He gets tagged through the smoke. He does all that just to get tagged through the smoke. Oh, no.
It's all right.
Pretty worst case scenario. Is it all right? There's 15 seconds.
But look, for valyn on this round in every way possible, just running it down. Should be getting the spike planted in time.
Wow. I mean, it's coming down to literally milliseconds, and he had just enough. I believe 0.2 on the clock. Recon bolt out. Net trying to fight onto the site. Scuba, 3 kills on the round. Verno trying to make it to full house if he can get one himself. Otherwise, it'll just be more of a kind. No, Scuba dealt with, and there it is. The full house. 3 for Scuba, 2 for Verno. The round to Oxygen.
Just a little unlucky for valyn into that round, but still holding on to the lead and making it expensive for Oxygen, every single one of them. Spike gets the fuse. Oxygen, they get to 8. The big chance as well to make it. Once again, that 9-9.
One enemy remaining.
We haven't seen this B side contested. It was also a matter of adaptation that just had to come through for the guard. Just KOs right and left on the T side. And Oxygen, they had to do the same when they were attacking. Both of the teams really understanding their strengths here, the weaknesses as well. The strength here now for pwny. Last round couldn't get too much, was not tested. An answer back though, the Hunter's Fury. Oh no way, takes down Trent.
Yeah, and it's Trent of all people, right? Trent is usually the guy that does that, but the last 2 maps of Verno has been pinpoint accurate with that Hunter's Fury.
And in the meantime,
I'm sick of mean time. I'm ready for nice time, but I don't think randyySAVAGE is ready for nice time. He's got himself a judge. And that dragon, awkwardly enough, that dragon barks. Flash, good spam. JonahP gets 1. 1 might not be enough as the last one standing. He's still fighting. 2 for himself. 45 seconds on the clock. Fortunately, no spike, though, and an aftershock that puts him in an awkward situation. It doesn't get a whole lot better. Down 30 HP. With a bit of utility. 2 rounds left in the magazine. This kill onto randyySAVAGE has to be perfect. Does so with the flash instead. No shotgun. Just a right click and a round for Oxygen.
good kills for randyySAVAGE. You take what you can, and that had to be a shotgun and the classic kill right at the end. So tied up with a lockdown available for the defensive side. And once again, a side of the guard that, even though they're comfortable taking matches and maps to the distance, and Oxygen is as well. They definitely seem like they're trying still to get a read on this Oxygen team. I mean, last round caught by surprise by pwny with his operator. That play a little bit more predictable, but everybody running it down on that C side. And this is the setup that we didn't really see from the guard. The Killjoy setup, heavy Killjoy setup on C. Sure, the Seekers is gonna catch. That player is gonna spot where he's gonna be located, but the damage is good.
I mean, you could tell the guard didn't even realize what was happening with all that utility. Take down the turret, get hit by the Nano Swarm, a random alarm bot, a lockdown, a Viper's Pit, a Cove, an Aftershock. Lots of utility used, a lot of it. Mostly the ultimates from the guard. Make sure this site stays there. Look what else they have. A Reckoning. It could come late in this round.
Yeah.
randyySAVAGE has a lockdown of his own.
And this is the lockdown. He has been waiting for it. Has been waiting for this opportunity, but as well the Reckoning that you mentioned. Trying to make it a little bit more difficult. A heavy ultimate round between the two, but the guard with the advantage. Heavy advantage into it.
Trent tried to stay as long as he possibly could. Here comes that late lurk, though. We saw it from Oxygen. Now, all right, wait a second. What? Tex, welcome to the site. Everybody's dead. The guard, against all odds, they walk out of that one flawlessly.
I mean, it was so much. Look at the ultimates that they had to use. Literally everything that they had for that round. With the Reckoning, with the Viper's Pit, and all of those were already enough to get these kills with the utility that they had. It was flawless, but it was still a little bit expensive for this side of the guard. Two of them not willing to get those heavy shields. Gonna stay with that 38-30 shield. That should be enough for Tex to get his one kill, the operator back up. And look at what it did on the other side, though, for Oxygen. Nothing to work with.
There's that one rifle. Not a Vandal. Not in the hands of Verno. It is a rifle, no less.
Four players here now on the defense.
You know, like too close on the attack. A third trickling in. Here comes 4 and 5. Savage forced off the angle. Good fault line. A stall for now. I promise you that spike is not planted, and there's some amount of time still left on the clock, but some of that dwindled away by that utility. Ooh, that hurts. Verno takes a shot to the rear end.
30
Rises,
seconds
walks
left.
way over towards the B site, and the rest of the defenders are also going to make their way here, but they're met by attackers in aggressive positions. JonahP inside the bunker here. Bunker down, turret in hand. Finds his first paint shells, maybe pushes them forward. He stands to fight just for long enough to take down pwny. Scuba with that one rifle.
Experiment complete.
1v5, seemingly undoable, but we'll find the first.
The last one, Scuba. The Guardian is all that he has, spotted by the guiding light. Should be taken down yet. valyn's gonna take care of it as the guard. They get one more round here and finally feel a little more comfortable when it comes to the winning streak that they've been looking for throughout this entire match. Maybe that first map was a little different, but the map number 2, map number 3, extremely close between the two.
Piss off. One enemy remaining.
And down to the wire. The guard sweating just a bit. 2 huge ultimates available for Oxygen Esports, though, and pwny and Mitch, we'll see how they chain these together, if they chain these together. Shrouded step. Aggressive positioning. Scuba takes that angle, and that's actually going to force Tex back. Uh-oh. You don't want to do that again, buddy.
It's 4 here for Oxygen. And this could go so wrong, especially with an operator holding on the other side, and is going to do just that. pwny goes down on the other side. Fighting a war, and valyn is going to win it. randyySAVAGE as well. Not going to be alive.
randyySAVAGE fighting a world war of his own. Everybody sent that way, and Tex is just cleaning up the stragglers.
Aggression once again for Oxygen that doesn't get anything. Lives Verno. The last one here. In a 1v5. In a match point for the guard. In map number 3. In every match that we've seen for Oxygen throughout Challengers, throughout the first split, it was always close. But I think the team that everybody has been comparing them to, even the guard has been comparing Oxygen to FaZe.
Match point.
And the guard was still able to win against FaZe yesterday. It was a 13-11. It was well fought. But it was still a victory, and it's a dominant victory. When it's a team like the guard that is always able to come back from situations, come back from difficult rounds. So 1 away, and Oxygen is gonna fight with everything to stay in this winner's bracket, this upper bracket. The mid-season face-off. Guard though trying to close it out.
Blinded.
Not the worst buy. For Oxygen Esports, still have those 2 ultimates to play with as well. Full retake is the call.
And can you afford this though? If you're on the side of Oxygen, you're hoping that that's the case, that's gonna be enough. But there's so much utility. There are so many resources for the guard to deal with for this post plan, as a spike is gonna get planted. A little bit of damage though the valyn had to take. Think to the Nano Swarmer now, ready for it.
No.
Operator up close.
No way! Tex strips away the showstopper. Verno able to battle back for the first. valyn will find another under randyySAVAGE. He takes lots of damage at the start of the round, but he gets healed up, and now he continues to fight forward. Rolling Thunder comes through, affects 2 all the way through the A site. As Scuba will find another, stuck inside his own poison orb. Trent goes down. valyn continues to fight, but so do Oxygen, as it's all up to JonahP, but Verno says no. And Oxygen, they go again.
No chance as long as Verno's alive. He's gonna make sure his team stays alive, stays on this match, and gets to double digits, 12-10. And Oxygen, yeah, the call for that retake was good, thanks to the Rolling Thunder. Enabled a better positioning for the full retake and allowed the play to go the way it did. So the guard
Bot coming back.
still not down, still with the economy, still looking good. We're having to change the game plan that we saw. That means having to go aggressive again for Oxygen Pwny. Unfortunate for that last round, but as long as they're able to stay alive, he's gonna fight with this operator. Not gonna find anybody up. Close this text.
That's an angle we've yet to see played. So cheeky from the guard, trying to catch Oxygen, unknowing. Whereas Pwny has a sightline. Flash comes out. He doesn't have a whole lot of ways to get out here. Fortunately, blinded. He memorized his path to safety. He's able to make it there.
Gonna be safe, but he gets closer to that time where you see the guard playing aggressive. Those 45 seconds left in text. How does he get Scuba? Oh, it seems like it almost was not gonna hit, but it doesn't matter. Scuba down. The controller down for Oxygen. And 35 seconds remaining for the guard.
Can Oxygen stall long enough? Can they make this one scary enough? Doesn't seem like it for now. Hunter Shiryu is gonna try and deal with the lockdown. Did he try to invest it onto some of the players? No, instead, yes, he does actually. Everybody away from the lockdown. He goes hunting for players, but he gets absolutely nothing. With Scuba gone, Oxygen down to their final 4. randyySAVAGE, long range with the judge, doesn't have the same effect as the operators. Pwny's gonna be next up with one of his own. Meanwhile, the linchpin, the long lurk, in the long play from JonahP. Do they ever sniff this one out? First, they have to try and fish out Trent. The Viper's been dealt with, no snakes today. Now JonahP and Net try and hold on. In a 3v2, Net will find the first. Health bars are starting to get low. Flashed up and taken down our Oxygen. It's JonahP to do it. And the guard, they go the distance, but they get it done.